Chuck wins it in. Here's Lemieux poking at the center. Lemieux ahead to Gretzky. Has Murphy with him on a 2-on-1 to Lemieux. And on goal. He shoots. He scores! Mario Lemieux with 1:26 remaining.
We had Gretzky passing magic like a wizard on skates, and Lemieux walking through defenders like open prairie gates. We had Haley Wickenheiser, queen of the ice, and Carey Price looking calm, cool, and precise. But then we had years where the puck was allergic to nets, where our breakouts looked like government debts, where the commentators whispered, well, that's unfortunate, and the whole nation sighed like a disappointed cabinet. Still, we gather round the TV like a sacred fire pit, 'cause win or lose, we're Canadian, we commit. Oh, we're on a quest for fire, a flame that never tires, from the battles in Salt Lake to the juniors misfires. We'll raise our sticks up high through triumph for Quagmire, 'cause Team Canada keep chasing that old red and white desire.
5, 4, 3.
Hello, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. This is the 6th episode of the Quest for Fire podcast. New year, same host, Zack May. New year, same co-host, Tim Lowhorn. How you doing, buddy? How are you, pal? You doing all right?
Yeah, just enjoying some World Juniors.
Enjoying some World Junior Championship hockey, because it's that time of year again. One of the best traditions of the holiday season is sitting down with your bros, your fam, and watching some A-tier junior hockey, best on best. Because, Switzerland almost pots one. Take a 2-0 lead on Czech. Yeah.
There's a 16-year-old out there, 6'5",
He's
monster, Jonah from Swiss.
Yeah, he
Number
looks
19.
like he's got some talent and size, and maybe he becomes a top-level forward for the Schweiz. The Schweiz?
We're going to have to wait till 2027 to see if the Flames can pick that guy up.
That's right. But will they? Won't they? Craig Button and his staff, they know. They're a pretty good scouting
Will
staff.
he be better than Nat Domicelli?
Nat Domicelli wasn't Swiss. He was Canadian.
He's Swiss.
Oh, the Czechs
Swiss
tie
Canadian.
it up. The Swiss.
Nat
Now
Domicelli
the
was
Czechia
Swiss Canadian.
are locked at 1, going into the second. So, yeah, welcome to the 6th episode of the Quest for Fire podcast. This is the first time we're going to podcast without having the Quest for Fire in the background.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
No Ron Perlman.
No Ron Perlman. No Ray
No
Don
Ray
Chong.
Chong.
Yeah, nobody climbing on Ray Don. So, yeah, we are here, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, January 2nd, 2026. How does that sound to you, buddy?
We got somewhat of a peanut gallery, but they're pretty much...
He's absorbed into the
He's
phone.
famished. He's eating a lot of sausage.
He's had some sausage. He's had some English breakfast. We got the Englishman himself. Matthew Ward, he's here in the house. He's hanging out. He's been one of my oldest friends. We go back to grade 6 when we were buddies, and here we are all these years later.
And Mike's around, but he's not around to listen to us.
No, he's upstairs. He's taking a mic day out, a mic TO. He wants to do what he wants to do. He doesn't want to watch sports and hear us talk about BS and jocular-related terminology and all that stuff that we like to talk about on this podcast. So, yeah, we have a little peanut gallery today, but yeah, it is the second day of the year 2026, and it already feels like it's brand new. New year, new me. Isn't that what people say? I don't know what people say, but I still feel the same, especially after a good breakfast is in my guts.
I have a New Year's resolution.
Oh, you have a New Year's
Yeah.
resolution. Here, let's save that for the first period. How about that?
It is the first period.
It's not yet. We haven't started the first period yet. All right, hit the horn, Timmy. Time for the first period. All right, here's the face-off. The face-off goes to clack, clack, clack. Oh, it goes to
Zach. Goes to Zach.
Oh, it goes to Zach.
Yeah, he won the face-off. The dirty guy pushed, cross-checked me and messed up my arm.
Used my hand to win the face-off.
Acted like Braden Shin on Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Putting him out.
Wrong
and then
shoulder, Tim.
eventually putting him out off the Canadian roster.
Wrong shoulder, Tim. So, yeah, we have a good show today. We're going to do some catch-up, period 1, and then Period 2, we're going to talk a bit about the Flames. And then period 3, we're going to talk about the American and the Canadian Olympic rosters that were released the last few days. So that's what we're going to talk about. So, yeah.
Give us the update, Zach, on how things been going.
Things with me have been going really well. I had a decent holiday season. It was almost ruined again because, nothing can quite ruin things like family drama, I'll tell you that. But thankfully, my nephews and my niece, they called me and they saved Christmas for me again. So kudos to them. Shout out to my sister and her great family. And we had a blast. It was a really nice, wholesome time. The week before, I took the kids to a Wranglers game, and then I took my niece on a date. So we'd been spending a lot of time together. So it was really nice. And
then, good man, Zach.
And then on the 27th, we went down to Piikani to go see my Smith family in Scotts Cooley. That was a really beautiful time. As soon as we pull up, the whole family's waiting for us in the kitchen. We felt like it was a surprise party or something. And my uncle, he insisted I say grace and say the prayer and brought him to tears. And it was a reminder that when I get to that stage of the holidays,
that's pretty holy.
Holy, and it's the best part. It really uplifts me because of all the good times that we have there. There's not a lot of the stigmas of ruined Christmases that I've had with other people, let's just say. But yeah, it was a fantastic time in the Scotts Cooley. We stayed up to 6:30 in the morning. I stumbled into my auntie's and fell asleep down in Bunny's basement. Shout out to my Auntie Leona, Uncle Sonny, Cousin Bunny, my Uncle Lyle, his partner Danny, my other cousins, Deandra, Daisy, their partners, Waylon and Heidi.
Good old staggered in the Cooley.
Kids. Yeah, staggered in the Cooley. It was a nice time. We played some foosball, still got it. Anybody wants to test, still got it. That means you, cowboy.
Bruh.
Played some foosball. We played some cards. Yeah, it was a nice way to spend a holiday night after a big feast.
The traditional cowboy jab on the pod?
Yeah, traditional cowboy jab. What would our pod be, if anything, but a place to take jabs?
Well,
Cowboy
until
Smith.
He gets on the pod.
Spahiquan.
He might have to change his name when he jumps on.
You might have to.
Jason
Anonymously.
Spezza is getting old.
Yeah, we're seeing a Jason Spezza sighting at this. He's scouting the Czech-Switzerland game. And then on my way down in Piikani, my heater, my defrost broke in my car. That was kind of unsettling. But to fix it, I just got to say, the engineers at Chevrolet, you guys are sadists. No shout out to you.
I love sadists.
They are they're the type of sadists that would make Clive Barker
sadomasochists.
They would make Pinhead blush. Let me just say,
from beyond the dealership.
From beyond the dealership. These guys were from the ninth circle of hell dealerships. These bastards. That was not an easy fix. I can't help but think if anybody else has a similar car.
We came.
We have such sights to show you.
You will have to change the actuator in your gear mechanism for heat.
Stop wasting your tears on good suffering.
Yeah, that's how it felt. It really, really freaking felt like that. It was a good holiday until that happened for sure. I was a bit stunned at that, to tell you the truth. I didn't think it would be that difficult, but it was. Shout out to my dad and shout out to his neighbor Floyd. Floyd is an angel who walks among us. He's one of those guys in the community he always helps people when it comes to fixing their cars, and he's just a real good dude in the community, a really great citizen who makes living in the community better.
Good old Floyd Rose.
Yeah, good old Floydy, man. He really helps out. And my dad, give him a shout out because he got his left hand in there because he's ambidextrous and he got this thing changed. But it was a 3-man job. Like, Floyd needed to have all of these pieces for us, all of these neat little extensions and small sockets and all these great things we needed. And he had a USB camera that he hooked up to his phone, so I was able to help him navigate that tech to get that loaded on.
It ain't got no gas in it.
And yeah, we got that thing changed. So my holiday was rather calm for New Year's Eve because I just stayed at home. I thought a bunch of buddies were going to come over, but none of them did. So I just ended up watching the Edmonton live stream of their countdown and the fireworks. It was
Why
a bit
the
like,
Edmonton live stream?
Yeah, the Edmonton live stream. It was nice. I like
Why?
it. Yeah, it was live.
No, we'll do it
awesome.
live.
So yeah, that's how I'm doing. I'm doing great.
Didn't Calgary have a live stream going?
No, they didn't have a live stream. I looked everywhere for Calgary's live stream. We didn't have it. We just weren't on the ball. But we had
so
our
you just
fireworks.
watched a bunch of strung out people. I'm just kidding.
Wow, everywhere is strung out people. Come on, it's New Year's. Everybody's just wasted. And how many days have they spent partying on the holidays? Like, it's been wild. And your livers are probably hating you by New Year's Eve, mine included. No, I'm just joking. I didn't really drink much. I had a couple drinks, but nothing insane.
You just drank gravy.
I just drank a lot of gravy. Yeah, I sure did. So I ate well, had a bunch of Christmas parties, spent a lot of time with family, and then I fixed my car, and now my car is back on the road. She's doing good, and I am super grateful. I'm super grateful for 2026. I'm super grateful for all the opportunity that lies ahead. And I'm looking forward to another great year of Quest for Fire podcasting alongside my co-host here, Timmy Lowhorn. So, Timmy, tell us how you're doing. How was your holidays,
Wait
bud?
a second. What's your car's name?
My car's name?
Yeah, the name of your car.
Cynthia. Cynthia Cruz.
Okay.
Yep. Or it might be Penelope Cruz.
So you don't have a name for your car?
No, I don't officially.
Your car doesn't have a soul.
It doesn't. It's a car. I could
No,
give
you
it.
got to name it.
I got to name it.
Once
You're
you
right.
give it a name, it gives it life.
Well, it's a good name for a Cruze, a Chevy Cruze. She's silver. She's a Chevy. She's difficult. She sounds like a rich Hispanic lady.
Kind of like a little short and a little bit of stocky.
Let's call her Penelope. Penny Cruz.
We'll call her Freya.
Freya
There you go.
Cruz. Freya Cruz.
Call her Freya.
God of fertility, the Norse god of fertility. Yeah, on the harvest. Let's do that. Okay, she's difficult.
She is an idol.
She is an item. Okay,
Yep.
so that's my new car's name, Penny Freya Cruz.
Help me, Tom Cruise!
So that's what's been going on with me, man. Nothing too crazy. How about with you, Padna? What's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. Just spent time with the family. Ate a ton of turkey.
A ton.
Oh yeah, gravy, mashed potatoes. Ate a ton of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Got a sweet Chinese gift exchange gift from the family get together there. I got a bunch of tools, so
Nice. Tools are
a bunch
good.
of tools I can get someone else to use. I'm just kidding. But I know my boy had a hockey tournament in the city here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we became pretty renowned, I guess. Yeah, first time ever seen a hockey game get stopped after the first period, but may I not say no more. I guess the team really wanted to make the finals, after we killed like 30 minutes penalties and 15 minutes, but the refs, relatively some of those calls were justified, but yeah, it was just kind of like a bit of a downer, you just kind of, that's kind of like the second tournament. That was just kind of like a, whatever, but it's hockey, the away teams never really get their true kick at the can, but it is what it is, you just have to, move on and lick your wounds and try to play better next game. So yeah, outside of that, I was actually supposed to be right now in Saskatchewan for another hockey tournament, but we have too many guys suspended and too many guys injured. So we didn't have enough to put in a roster to be able to play in our Saskatchewan tournament this weekend, but which is unfortunate. It's so funny how when we play home games, there's not any suspensions or injuries on both ends, but it just kind of seems every barn we go to, there's suspensions and injuries. It's just kind of a strange coincidence. I know some of them are justified, but geez, most of them, I don't know, very questionable, but what can you do? You live with it and you just kind of get through. Yeah, but it was, outside of that, it was, there are some moments. Ended up watching Anaconda.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I thought it was like a standalone. I didn't know it was like a reboot, but it was like a play on reboot. It was like a comedy. So, but yeah, there's a couple cool cameos. I'm not going to ruin it for the listeners, but go watch yourself some Anaconda. Be pleasantly surprised.
Was it like vital you watch it in a theater, or could you watch it at home?
You can watch it in the theater. Actually, you know what? We watched it at Power Play, a theater relatively new in the city.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Actually a more quaint, a little more like, smaller setting. It's not like the huge theaters that you get with Landmark and Cinema or even the Globe. And this is like they're kind of like smaller theaters. Like I think you could say about maybe give or take 15, 20 people. So I actually enjoyed it. Sound was great. The rooms were like not crazy big, but the Power Play Theater I think was a little more expensive though, but they do ordering from the seat, and they do have tables with the the recliners. So if you're looking for a nice, decent experience for watching a movie, even the popcorn was relatively okay, even though it's self-serve, and it's one of those you just pay, and a bunch of cameras just basically watch you, and then they charge you when you leave, which is insane. I don't know how that works, but I didn't double check the credit card to see if it just ridiculously charged me for, a crap ton of Skittles and stuff like that. But
It sounds like there's a good reminder to do that. Make sure that damn facial recognition technology doesn't double charge you.
yeah, making sure that, just kind of easing us into that surveillance state where we can't do nothing, and eventually, not even have a podcast where we can discuss our own opinions, or else, we'll have some type of robot police breaking down a door and,
How
folding
Orwellian.
Zach over like a cheap Walmart camping chair.
How Orwellian.
Yeah.
Switzerland scores, takes the lead 2-1 on the power play. Radim Murtka takes a boneheaded penalty. Sabres first rounder.
So we're actually watching the Czech-Swiss game in the World Juniors right now. We're in the second period with 13 minutes left and in the second period. And the Swiss are playing well.
They look good.
They're looking good.
Yeah, they look like they can compete with Czechia here.
Yeah.
Czechia looks a little bit flat-footed. They look like they weren't expecting the Swiss to be this fast.
Look at that. Jonah.
Joan Schwander with the beautiful
Neunschwander,
backdoor
the
pass.
19-year-old, the
Rebar.
16-year-old legend.
Finds Reber.
That kid is.
Don't call me
oh, man.
Rebar.
I
'cause
can't
I'm
wait till
probably
that
not
kid's
old enough to
draft.
go to a bar in the States.
I can't wait till Jonah's draft, man. I'm going to buy a Swiss jersey that, represent.
Yeah, he's a nice-looking kid. That was a nice find. Backdoor. He was just in the right circle, found the guy
Yeah,
backdoor.
pure winger, not a center.
Found him, hard
So
pass.
Zach will not like him because he's not a
I
center.
don't mind wingers, but
No,
they're not the
you
most
hate
valuable
wingers.
part of a team.
You're all center.
I'm all center, number
You're
one
all
D and
center,
goalie. Goalie, defenseman.
No, you don't care about goalies.
Centers.
You don't give a shit
I do.
about wingers. You don't care
No,
about
I don't
defense.
Wingers are the
You only
least
care about centers.
valuable piece.
And if they're big, sweaty, steamy
Oh,
men.
what a pass tapping.
Yeah.
Man, head up, about 6 inches off the ice, sauces it over the defenseman, leaves Jiricek swinging at nothing. Radim Murtka. Didn't Murtka have the best reaction after getting drafted by the Sabres? He's like, oh, not these fucking guys. Jeez, take me to Buffalo. Great. I like their wings, but and I like the
Murka is
Bills.
6'6".
Yeah, he's a big guy. That's why he's a first rounder.
I don't mind Murka. I hope he translates well. But right now, Buffalo is on a tear.
They are on a tear.
Unbelievable tear. 10 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if they're playing today, but
I don't think
Buffalo went on a tear today, and that's actually one of the highlights too, because their last loss, I was at the game with my son, and it was in Calgary here against the Flames. Flames absolutely dominated them, made them look like the Buffalo Sabres. Although I was wearing my TNT jersey, third jersey with the with my sweet black and white Buffalo Sabres current logo. I was going to say retro logo. You could say it's a retro logo, but current logo. But because I can't find a hat that has their third jersey logo. Those are so rare. Those hats are so rare to find. Well, I don't know, but yeah, I would kill for not literally kill, but I would love to get a third. The
Sabres. The third
the
jersey
third
hat.
jersey logo. The what do they call it? The goat.
Yeah.
They call it the silver goat.
The
or
saber goat,
The goat. Yeah, the goat head. Yeah, the goat head jersey. that'd be sick to find a black hat with that
Well,
on
you could
it.
probably find that. You just look around, maybe get some design at a shop.
And also got a big head, so
You do have an enormous head.
sponsorships from people who make hats for big heads.
What size is your head? People want to know.
It's an
You
8.
An 8. He has a legit
Some
8
eights
head.
don't fit on the head.
He has an 8 head.
Some
Not
of
a 4
some
head. He
heads-
has an 8 head.
And if it's a flex, it has to be a 2XL flex fit.
It's a big head.
Yeah.
I have
And
a
some of
7.
those don't even
I have
fit
a
as
7.5. I think I'm basically 7 and 3 almost. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like 7 and 5/8 almost for a head. But like 7 and a full 8. That's quite the noggin. I'm not kidding. That kid's head's
You should-
like
you should
Sputnik,
grow out the dreads.
spherically and pointy and round.
You should grow out
Oh,
the
I
dread
was
sack.
offside, wasn't it? He'll be crying himself to sleep tonight on his huge pillow. I'm not kidding. That boy's head's like an orange on a toothpick.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just some soy. I married an axe murderer. Had to get it out there. Because it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there is a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world known as the Pentaveret. They are the Queen, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up. Oh, I hated that Colonel with his wee beady eyes and that look on his face like, oh, you're going to buy my chicken. Oh.
Oh, look at Yona. Wow, look at that kid, man. 16 years old. He's playing like a man
Well, yeah, he's playing
amongst
the
boys.
WJC. He's not.
Jan-02-2026.
He's not playing against boys. The Czechs are all right, but they do definitely look like they're playing on their heels. They don't really look that good. They didn't look as good as they did.
But
when
it's
they played
not like,
Canada.
Czechs are a pushover, man. They're
No. They're a
They're
good
burning
team.
teams in the World Juniors
I
this
don't know
year.
about burning teams, but they're playing well.
Yeah, they burned Denmark.
By Denmark. Denmark's now relegated. Welcome back, Norway. Let's see what Norway's got.
Oh,
Have you been? Okay, quick thoughts about the teams at the WJC this year. Who do you like at the WJC? You like Deutschlander, of course. Who else?
I like Sweden. Sweden's been playing very well. Very great. Very great.
Who do you
I
like
love
on
the
Sweden?
transition. Oh my goodness! Like
Who do you like
even
on
we were
Sweden?
watching them earlier today. That Celine Wallenius.
Oh yeah,
Celine Wallenius. Bjork has been looking.
Yeah, he's impressed me. I see why he's a first rounder.
Yeah.
Great prospect. Yeah.
Bjork is obviously, and then I honestly haven't been paying attention to Ivar,
I have.
but he's been having a good tournament.
He has
so,
for a 17-year-old good draft eligible kid.
Yeah.
I think he's had one of the better seasons of
Stenberg,
all the draft eligible kids. He's probably looked the best to me. He's a little bigger than you think. He's wiry. He's got his nose in the greasy areas in the offensive zone. He can work the perimeter looking for a play. He's got some fake and some shiftiness in his play. He's also responsible. He's got good conditioning. The kid gets up the ice, gets back on defense. He's a good-looking center prospect. For somebody who's having a historic run in the SHL, he kind of looks like it. He hasn't really hit the scoreboard too
Yeah,
much.
for a second there, I thought you were reading your Tinder profile. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I like long walks on the beach.
he likes to play the perimeter.
I like to play. I don't play the perimeter, not me. Power forward, buddy. Getting my nose in there.
Yeah, straight to the net.
Straight to the net. Take it to the net. Use my size for something good. But
Even
no, I like Stenberg on them. I like Viggo Bjork. I think Viggo Bjork is going to make some team happy in the early teens when they pick him. I think he might even sneak into top 10 because of how light the options are at center in this draft. And if a guy like Marco Rossi can go 9th, I think he can go 9th too. Oh, the check's tied up. Beauty play, forecheck, working a cycle. Switzerland kind of overcommits, loses his stick. Buddy finds a trailer late. He skips a check and then buries it. That was a nice play. That was a nice heads-up play by their 28. And it was a nice find by that winger. I don't know his name, some Czech name.
How about
Danark?
did you see the game between was it Finland and Canada?
Yeah, that was a pretty good game. We beat the crap out of them for sure. That was a nice
Man,
game.
that pass from Perek, that distance, what is that? Right from the goal line,
Yeah,
he just shoots out T. Jagela
yeah,
on a breakaway
yeah. I'm looking
at the other blue line. I'm
see-
like, oh my goodness, what
see-
a pass!
Yeah, nice finish by Tej, and I think he's going to be a good 30.
What
He'll
what
score,
a pass!
He'll
Man,
score 30 in the
Perek
NHL.
dominated offensively,
But that's who I wanna
obviously
talk
made a
about.
couple mistakes that led to goals. And
That's who I want to talk about. Is
Yeah, but
Perek's
but it doesn't
offensive
matter.
Dominance.
Doesn't matter.
Man, it does. I think he'll be able to clean up. and he'll
Everybody
get
needs
stronger.
Evan Bouchard type player. Even
He's
though
better
he
than
isn't.
Evan Bouchard.
He's probably
He's a better
defensively.
skater, better power play
Better
runner,
decision maker,
better
but
decision maker. Doesn't have the slap shot. No,
the hope is that the offense will translate like an Evan Bouchard.
he's just got to stay healthy, get stronger, and be passable in his own
He just
zone.
got to get darker.
You pair him with Kevin Ball or
got to
Jan
get darker.
Kuznetsov.
Sit in the sun a little longer. Get a little darker. You know.
So, I'm liking Canada. They look like they look for too many nice plays and sweet plays, but they've won the games they're supposed to win. They avoided that scare with Latvia. Latvia played better than I thought they would in that game, but their style is, just collapse in front of the net, play the trap, protect the goalie. Oh, the Swiss take another ill-advised in-zone turnover.
How else are you going to play?
Pounces on it, takes the lead 3-2.
It's not like Latvia has any high-end talent.
Zero.
Like, you have to play a certain way if you're going to compete against high-skilled teams. It's like a tale as old as time. You have to basically be able to play the hard forecheck game. The crash to net. The collapsing down. The blocking shots. You have to play like the 1999 Buffalo Sabres in front of Dominic Hasek. And you just got to have a great goalie. That's it.
And their goalie did play well, but honestly, I didn't think he had to save any 10-bellers. There was Canada just duffing too many good looks for an insane backdoor through the legs look, looking for highlight reel stuff, and they just had never really cracked that defensive system that the Latvians had. But I thought they did exactly what you said. They don't have high end talent. They had to play a certain way. They had to play just super defensive, committed to defense, and then look for opportunities on offense and a bounce that went their way. But what did them in was just ill-timed penalties. The same thing against Sweden today. I think they were in that game. They scored 3 goals. Latvia did. It lost 6-3. But I thought that they had a chance to win that game if they didn't take costly penalties. Took costly penalties. Sweden made them pay. But, there have been some prizes this year. I think Switzerland and I think Latvia are good-looking teams at the bottom of the big boys. It sucks not having Russia here. I don't want to get too political, but I don't think it's fair.
Don't have to get political. It's hockey.
I don't think that the Russians should be excluded from international competition, and hockey included to that. I don't think they should be excluded.
Well, they didn't exclude them from major tournaments when they were, communist country.
Nope. But
going
now all
to
of a
war
sudden they got a war.
And being a threat.
But now they got a
Cold
war with Ukraine and NATO has been the one that have been encroaching and voiding all the agreements that they made in treaties with Russia since the 90s.
Yeah.
Since and Russia's looked at like the aggressor here, and it's just Western media making them out to be an enemy
Whether how you
again.
look at it, Russia was even asking to join NATO, which is so funny because NATO was created because of Russia.
And
so, if Russia joins NATO, then that basically makes NATO obsolete, eh?
Maybe, or just revise or reconciles it
Or
to be
they
something
just turn
more.
their sights on North Korea.
And it's an organization of North Atlantic Trade Organization, right? And it should include Russia. And Russia wanted to be part of the West. They wanted to be integrated. But no, we needed to keep them as an enemy. And now look at this. And it's just manufacturing consent all over again.
Yeah.
And I think it's bullshit that they're not in this tournament. They are some of the best hockey players in the world. And those kids should not be denied because of what some war pigs are deciding.
Yeah, let's lay off the politics. Because even back then, when you had guys like Boris Mikhailov, we'll get the names right this time rather than last pod.
We got a few of them, right?
Like Sergei Karatanov, Boris Mikhailov, you had, Nikita Krylov.
He was the coach. Who's the coach? He was Boris too, was he?
Oh, no, the coach was a guy who was he was kind of like a figure. His son, Tikhonov.
Yeah, Viktor Tikhonov.
Viktor Tikhonov. He wasn't a great coach. The guys actually learned from an old Russian guy and were trained by, I forgot his name. He actually wrote a book on hockey. But he was the guy who trained the legendary Vyacheslav Fetisov. He trained all of those guys. And,
Fetisov.
And Fetisov was the guy, eh?
Yeah,
he was a young guy back in 72.
Yeah.
Was he 18 years old or something like that? But other than that, during that time, those guys just loved hockey. And you heard stories back in 72. When the goalies were working with the tennis balls and stuff like that, Tretiak never seen how these North Americans train, And next thing you know, like the Russians were actually picking up a lot of these little things from Canada, and they were incorporating them into their game because like they only knew what they knew.
Yeah.
And you know,
Which was incredible, and what they brought to hockey.
and they brought a lot of respect. But the problem was is
High skill.
I think that's a travesty that we
High
never
conditioning.
got to see Vladimir Tretiak or Sergei Karatanov
Or Harlamov.
or Boris Mihailov.
Or Harlamov.
Yeah, Harlamov.
Never got to see
Yeah, Karatanov or whatever. Hey,
Harlamov was a guy, but no, also
yeah,
too.
Valery Haratonov. Yeah,
Yeah, Karatanov, yeah.
yeah.
And then we also got to see Makarov, luckily, but he was a 29-year-old, 30-year-old rookie. When
But
he came
yeah,
in.
but he came in and he was lights out for
He won the
Calgary.
Rookie of the Year. He was one of the best players.
Oh, I love that
guys have ever
42
seen.
Makarov. Oh my goodness.
But like you look at some of the training videos that these kids are undergoing, like there's a reason why they have so many goalie prospects and goalies starring in the NHL is because these guys are on a different level when it comes to athletics and their training. And you look at our kids and where are our goaltending prospects? We haven't had one good one since Carey Price. Don't get me started, but it's definitely a cultural thing. Hard times create hard men who create good times, who create soft times and create soft men. And I think we're in that end of the spectrum in some respects.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of focus.
I think
It's really kind of outdated with our development in Canada here.
And I think we should take this to overtime, to tell you the truth. And I think you get a couple goals here for your talks about remembering those Russian names and remembering these times because, we need to remember these times because these kids shouldn't be excluded and these players shouldn't be excluded
just
from
kids,
best on
man.
best. And they're just athletes. They're not the ones making decisions.
They
They're the
didn't
ones...
decide to invade Ukraine.
No, they didn't.
They didn't decide to go to Afghanistan.
No,
they
they
didn't
didn't.
decide,
Nope.
to have a nuclear arms
Nope.
race
You
against,
score again.
Americans.
You got the rare first period hat trick. That's a nice hat trick there, bud.
Yeah, they didn't decide to get, Soviet Union or
Nope.
whatever.
They
and
didn't decide any of that.
They didn't decide nothing.
They're just
they
guys who
didn't
love a
put
game.
Putin in the freaking presidency.
They're just guys who love a game. All right, well, that's our catch-up. I think your prediction, who wins gold in this tournament?
I think, it's between Canada and Sweden. I think Canada's going to...
Ooh, America left off. You think
I don't think... I think Parekh is just on a different level. Like when you compare him to every other defenseman, Parekh's the best. Like, he just changes the game with how great of an offense he is. Like, he's not absolutely terrible defensively. He just kind of just needs to learn to make better decisions. He's not like Evan Bouchard where,
definitely
he's
not
just
Cascade.
completely just dumbfounded on defense. But
And he's not like Gostisbehere either. Like
No.
Gostisbehere is a train wreck defensively, but
Gostisbehere,
he's so good offensively that he keeps getting hired. But I think Parekh is on another level offensively. Like he's the only guy in Bobby Orr conversation the last how many 60 years?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's pretty elite company to be
I
a part
think
of.
he has like he might not have like the full stability of like a Quinn Hughes like that moves the puck and like is like just basically a very kind of like pressure the puck all over the place kind of guy and just like hold the puck and control it. But I think Parekh just has that offensive ability
Player.
to just have like a, point per game kind of average once he gets into his prime kind of thing. Eh?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's the type of guy with his shot, how easy he gets that shot off.
But
the
that
way
passing,
he
like,
the way
it's
he
so
skates the blue
effortless.
line in the offensive zone on the power play, that guy's going to be a big time power play point producer.
Calgary's lucky.
Well, he was a good draft pick. He
To
fell.
have Wolf
I
and
wanted
Parekh
Dickinson.
there.
I wanted Dickinson in that draft, but I'm happy with Parekh because of his ceiling. I think he has a higher ceiling than Dickinson, but Dickinson has a way higher floor. Like Dickinson can play in the NHL and look decent, even on a bad San Jose Shark defensive core. He looks good because he's got the total package. He's a two-way D-man. He's not going to have the offensive upside that Parekh has, but
I don't mind Dickinson.
you got to
but,
shoot for the stars. When we're getting lower
Yeah.
picks in the first round, you got to shoot on. You really got to hope you land some offensive ceiling and some potential in some of these guys because and that's a testament to the scouting staff.
Who do you got?
For the gold medal? I'm going Canada. I just think they figured the game out. I think they can get there. I think their team is good enough. I think they have enough high-end talent. Everybody buys in. And I think they've cleaned up their defensive game a little bit. And I think Veerhoff, he starts to look better and more comfortable in that blue line. So yeah, I'm going Canada. I'm saying Canada, Sweden, gold medal game, and I'd say United States wins the bronze. Whoever loses this game, they beat for the bronze. So that's my That's my
2 bits.
my 2 bits. My
That's the end of
Yeah.
the first period.
that's it. Hit the horn.
I think we went for a half hour.
Oh, we almost did. We almost did. Pretty much
Yeah,
half
yeah.
hour.
Our
That's okay. So
peanut
what?
gallery had a quick jack and passed
Quick
out.
jack and pass. All right, who's this first period brought to you by? You get to pick.
It's brought to you by the most un-Canadian, franchise in Canadian history, Tim Hortons.
They're so not.
There
Canadian.
is nothing Canadian about Tim
There's
Hortons
nothing.
anymore.
There's nothing about it.
Nothing, not even the donuts. They're probably shipped in from U.S.
Now that I have my coffee, I'm ready to watch Radar. Where
Who
is it?
knows where that, all of that fluff or whatever the bread's come from. But
Yeah, they make it in a factory somewhere in Ontario and ship it out. It's just gross, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
Since Burger King purchased them, it just went to crap. It's all about margins and numbers and mass produce because, the company that bought them owns a bunch of franchises and it just goes kind of down. I think it was the guys who owned the Burger King, But
that's
but yeah, no, they're kind of just adding crap to the menu, and they're making it more like, I guess you can say, even the donuts. It's all like more ultra processed.
Czechia takes another goal. Ultra processed and un-Canadian. Thank you, Tim Hortons, for selling out.
Klima boy.
Selling out. Attaboy.
Shout out
Way
Klima
to
boy.
be Tim.
Sixaka,
Tim's rolling in
Mr.
his
Medicine
grave.
Shield.
Rolling in his grave.
There's a guy in a white suit with a camera.
Yeah, skating on the ice.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Kind of blends into the ice.
Is he there like during the game?
Yeah, he's there all
That'd
game.
be so sick.
Just
If he
waiting.
was just skating behind a guy on a breakaway.
That'd be hilarious. out
Better
there.
position than the defenseman.
No, you couldn't have another.
Getting the camera in.
You couldn't have an extra skater out there because it's already clogged up enough. But Sikora scores. Don't call me Peter Sikora. He bangs
He's
one
just
home.
dressed all in white, like
Yeah.
a white onesie.
Switzerland's collapsing here.
There's a wizard.
They're collapsing. And we got the Czech wizard in the stands,
Yeah.
loving every
Yeah,
minute
he's
of it,
just hammered.
soaking it up, and all that Czech Stiegel he's drinking too.
So you're going to be making it out to next year?
Yeah, we're going. So
Next year in
So
was
let's
it
start.
Kelowna?
Let's start the second period. No, it's in Edmonton. Start the second period. Hit that horn.
Second period.
Okay, who wins the face-off?
Game
Click,
start.
Clack, 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 clack. Oh, Tim wins the face-off.
All right. So for the second period, we're going to start off. We're going to probably talk a little bit Canada stuff, but for the men's roster there. But what we're going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about how good and how undesirably good the Flames have been.
It's a good word. It's a good
So-
word. Undesirable. Oh,
So the Flames have been pulling out wins like out of Edmonton, out of Vegas,
Put it in the win column.
wherever these wins are coming out. They just steamrolled Philadelphia like it was nobody's business. They made them look like instead of a Philadelphia cheesesteak, they made them look like a Philadelphia spring roll.
mistake.
Yeah, a mistake.
Yeah, they didn't look very good.
My goodness, the Flames are on a tear, and
Not a Buffalo
so
Sabres tear.
Greg Conroy
Greg.
needs what he needs to do is he needs to start trading these guys out of here as quick as possible, or else we're gonna be in what he calls
Mushy
this
middle.
purgatory. I don't like that term, mushy middle, but you're right. But I like purgatory, hockey purgatory, which what we're used to. We've been in this situation. Calgary, whenever we have an opportunity to draft high, we end up getting like a Sutter as a coach, or we just kind of get like signed like a Steve Smith or like a Grant Fuhrer or an old Mike Vernon or some old bastard that's gonna somehow help us get like we're like a Phil Housley to keep us from falling to the bottom 10,
Yep, to get the Lemieux, to get the Jaegers.
And we just sit like at the, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th pick.
All the time.
And, we're
Well, except for four
we
drafts.
try to get close
five.
to the playoffs.
We've had 1 4 overall pick. We've had 3 6 overall picks.
What was Rico
and one
Fatto?
9,
Rico
6.
Fatto was a
6.
sixth. Okay.
Stillman is 6, and Daniel Kachuk was a 6.
Daniel Kachuk.
Stillman was a good player, but he wasn't a superstar.
Oh man! Oh,
he was a good complimentary player.
If he stayed, he
was
was such a
good
he was
playmaker.
such a
Imagine him and
skill.
Iggy. He would have been the best playmaker Iggy ever played with.
I remember that was the coolest things I ever seen at a skills competition. I remember, the Flames used to have the skills competition, and they would do food donations.
Yeah.
And so
Bring that back.
We're actually around that time because
Goal.
it's around
Tim
January.
scores another goal. He
February.
got 4 goals this game. Bring that back.
Yeah,
Flames.
just like Corey Stillman, who used to get 4 goals a game.
Sorry,
But
4 assists.
he just has 4 Stanley Cups. Oh, I don't know. But no, I don't think he has 4 Stanley Cups. But he has
he
a
has
few.
one.
He has no.
Does he
He
have
had one
2?
with Carolina. He has
Yeah.
one with Tampa Bay.
Oh, he went with Tampa.
Yeah. He won with Tampa with St. Louis, his former teammate in Calgary.
Was that one that 2005 when they won?
2004.
Oh, don't remind me of that one.
Yeah, was Corey Stillman on that team?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was because he was such a great player for Tampa. But anywho, one of the greatest moments, one of the greatest skilled things I ever seen was Corey Stillman, and they were having the shootout, and what they were doing was the guy would go to the center ice, and he would interview the guy doing the shootout, and they would kind of like talk back and forth or whatever. But the guy actually said, Corey, you're actually so, Corey, can you call it? Can you call it? The guy just asked Corey, and Corey Stillman, and this was on J.S. Shagir. This is a young J.S. Shagir, not the Anaheim Conn Smythe, but this is when J.S. Shagir was with the Flames as a rookie.
And we traded him because we had Trevor Kidd.
And we had J.S. Shagir. And on J.S. Shagir, on the mic, before he went on his shootout attempt, Corey Stillman's like, yeah, I'll pick. I'm going backhand glove shelf. Oh my god! He just goes, fakes a shot, backhand glove shelf. Shakir couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough move to stop, to tell you the truth.
Oh my goodness, Corey Stillman was such a boss, man.
He was a beauty. He was a good-looking player, but that's one of our 6s. And then Daniel Kachuk, he only had concussion problems. He got a bad concussion playing for the Flames. Like, he looked good when they were playing
He
with
didn't
St.
have
John.
much.
in the
Like, what did he
AHL.
play? Like 7 games or what?
Yeah, it was a bad concussion. He never played again. And that was, sadly, he was trending good. He wasn't like a Rico Fata. Rico Fata was just overdrafted.
He
'cause
wasn't
had
a
too much
Pavel
speed.
Turgayev.
Definitely not a Turgeyev, no. Nor Trevor Kidd, but
A
nor
Yermon
a Dion
Titov.
Phaneuf. Dion Phaneuf was a good player, but again, it's like talking about what you were saying. The Flames management was this old and crusty Daryl Sutter running the team who thought with our defense, with Robin Regeer, Rhett Warrener, Mondador, Commodore, that we needed this big hulking, like Frankenstein-looking guy in Dion Phaneuf when we had how many centers in that draft that we missed out on? Notably, Ryan Getzlaf.
Did you watch that draft?
Yes, I did.
Did you see when Calgary was up to pick?
Oh yeah, they were so excited.
And Daryl Sutter literally just busted a nut.
Busted a nut.
As
Look,
soon
oh,
as,
look at
oh, it's
Dion
Calgary.
Phaneuf.
Oh, and he was like, I can't believe Dion Phaneuf fell this far. Well, no, with all due respect, Dion Phaneuf had a great
Career.
He set a record for defensemen's goals for Flames. And,
Yeah, he looked good until he hurt his hip. Then he couldn't skate anymore, and he
Yeah.
looked like a goon the rest
until
of
he
his career.
tripped over his own skate.
Oh, big hit.
Trying to
Moogly
scrap,
lays out a check kid.
Trying to scrap a Finnish guy who didn't fight. Was that Ruutu?
Big hit by Moogly on a check guy. He's down. check
Moogly,
guy.
yeah.
Moogly.
These
what a
kids
hit.
are so not ready for getting hits.
Oh no, but that was just
Look
a
at
clean hit.
Jonah Nunschfinder just standing over his corpse.
They're gonna eject him for what? For the fight? It better.
No,
be
it's probably head contact. It's
no, it wasn't head
international
contact.
rules.
Oh, look at this hit. It's just a straight up
International
look at this hit.
rules.
Oh, right in his chest. That's not
Yeah.
penalty.
That's
a good hit. The referee's
That's a good
arm's
hit.
not up. It was a good hit.
It's a good hit.
It's
a
the
good hit.
fight afterwards that's gonna get thrown out. That kind of crap.
There's zero tolerance for
I know.
fighting, which
IHF, yeah.
double
So-
IHF, yeah.
So yeah, Daryl Sutter drafted Dion Phaneuf with our 9th pick, and we had like how many centers available? Jeff Carter, Mike Richards, Patrice Bergeron, Ryan Getzlaf. Like why don't they pick a center when we're going into the uptick of our rebuild? I'll never know. We struggled to find a center forever to play with Jerome McGinley. And what a travesty. I remember the time I got to hang out with McGinley, and both of us were just talking about, what would it have been like to play with an actual centerman? even though I like Craig Conroy and Craig Conroy had good chemistry with him, but he was a 6th-round pick. Like, Craig Conroy isn't a stud centerman. Like, he was a guy who was a playmaker, two-way responsible.
He was a two-way guy.
And he was a playmaker, and he could win draws, and he could get the puck to the
About
hottest
a
goal scorer.
40-point guy a season before
No,
that.
he was, 40-point guy before that. He had 60 with us.
Relatively,
He
a
had a good
second,
season with
third
the Ginla.
center on a good St. Louis team before
but top
he came.
center in the NHL, no. He just had great chemistry
No.
with the Ginla, and that was the best centerman he ever played with.
And we're the jury's still out on how he is as a GM. So
I think he's a good GM. I think he knows that this market wants us to rebuild, and he knows the ownership is pulling the other way, and he can only do what his marching orders are. And he can only
we'll find out with Rasmus.
Yeah, we'll find out
with
where the
Kadri.
marching orders are after this latest hot stretch. It's not a Buffalo hot stretch, but we're playing great these last 12 games. We're playing really inspired hockey, but
He of all guys should know.
only 2 wins have been meaningful in my book. Has been the Vegas win and the Edmonton win after we got trolloped
But we're risking
in
losing
Edmonton.
Rasmus for nothing right now. So
they got to trade him. I don't want this to happen like what happened
he
with
of all
Johnny.
guys should know that.
Yeah.
He was the assistant GM when we
tra-
lost Gaudreau for
We
nothing.
lost Gaudreau for nothing. Rest in peace, Johnny. Shout out to the Gaudreau family, what great people they were and are, and how awesome it was to see them all when Johnny was lighting it up here in Calgary. I really feel like he was taken too soon, but sadly, that's just the way the world works sometimes. There's idiots there, drink and drive. Don't drink and drive this holiday season. Don't be that douche.
Yep.
Anyways, this direction of the Flames, we just keep winning. I think a lot of these wins are hollow, but they look better. And I've been wanting to say this for a couple pods, but I'm correlating this turnaround with the addition of Yan Kuznetsov. Yan Kuznetsov has looked really solid beside Mackenzie Weegar.
He's looked good. Yeah.
He's looked good as a defensive defenseman, a guy who he doesn't want. You don't want him to be too noticeable. He's looking good in the sense that he's not hurting you defensively. The shot suppression metrics, the chance metrics are like really pointing to him being a good possession player. And also, he doesn't look like he's terrible on offense either. He looks like he looks for his own lanes to shoot, get the puck on net. He's not a net zero or a negative in the offensive zone, and that's a valuable defenseman. It's nice to see a second-round pick turn out for us. He's nasty, got size. He's a dangerous player. I think he's really stabilized our defensive core. And then the other turnaround, another left-handed large defenseman, Kevin Ball.
They're playing better.
They're playing
a
better.
lot better.
Clevin Ball looks a lot better too. Do you see him lay out McDavid? Like, McDavid's no small guy, and Ball laid him out
Connor
easy.
McDoink the Clown.
And he's been fighting, and Ball looks like he's adding the physical component that was heralded when he was coming out of juniors. He's really upping that. And for a guy with wheels like his, at his size and his stick check capabilities, that's a valuable player to have. And to tell you the truth, he's the type of player that I think Calgary should be looking at, Canada should be looking at including on their Olympic team. If the Americans are going to bring out Slovene, I know he's got more of a pedigree, but Ball looks like he could be one of the stalwart Adam Foote level guys to bring on with a Cale Makar. So I think I'd like Ball right now over Devon Taves, to tell you the truth. But we'll get into that in the third period. We're going to talk about the rosters and stuff. But yeah, the Flames turnaround, I'd say, is crystallized by the emergence of Kuznetsov and the evolution of Ball.
But I also think it's more or less that the guys just got over the when is Rasmus leaving type of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's no secret that everybody's just waiting for Rasmus to get out of town.
Yep.
Although, personally, I think that if the Flames do very well in this run, we get into a playoff spot, we're not too far out. What if Rasmus starts thinking, well, maybe I like it here. Maybe I want to re-sign for a decent. What do I want to be a part of this right now?
He's already said that. He's already gone on record and said that.
Yeah.
But the quote is, it takes two to tango.
He's just saying that because he has to say that. That's what their media is training is telling him.
He likes it here.
But no, of course he likes it here.
But we doesn't want to pay him.
But he does not want to, he honestly wants to go somewhere nice, He
wants to get paid.
He knows he wants to get paid. But he's being a little greedy, which I don't mind. Hockey players getting a little greedy. But
I think
he's getting greedy. And all he has to do is just,
he gave us a hometown
give
discount.
a fair price that doesn't handicap us, like when we get our new arena. We still have to sign Perek, when he's lighting the world on fire. Yeah. we still have to sign guys like free agents because in reality, we're not going to do it through the draft. We know right now, unless we fire a scouting team and start getting like crazy, finding diamonds in the rough,
Which we've had to do because we're always picking the middle.
So,
or we have GMs who throw around picks like they're just splashing water at a water park, tree living. Feast all these god-awful GMs we've had.
So what we have to do is we go to the free agency route to try to build this team like what Vegas did.
We'll never do that.
It isn't impossible. There's some pretty decent free agents in the next couple of years.
Sure, but we're not a destination. We get guys like Coleman.
We're not a destination, but guess what? If you get enough Swedes that love this place, we might sign a Swede.
Kadri was a free agent.
Yeah, we somewhat overpaid, I guess you can say, but not crazy.
Not crazy, just because they've always produced. Yeah,
but
produced well.
his contract's looking not too bad for what he's doing. I think he's been leading the Flames in scoring. Yeah. He's been playing a very central role with this offense. He's been a very good player, and mind you, we thought when we signed him, we thought we were going to still be competing. At that level we were competing before we lost Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau. But honestly, we obviously were not there. We're an entirely different team. But I think it's good for these young kids that are coming in. They're feeling what a winning culture is. Because, unlike Edmonton and Buffalo, when they were going through their dark times, none of those guys knew what winning was. Everyone there was just collecting a check. And just playing.
And there was no vets to show the kids how to be pros, right?
Yeah,
and show the kids how to train, how to prepare, and how to treat themselves, and have expectations for themselves.
Like name a vet that was on the Edmonton Oilers, like say when they had Jordan Eberle, they drafted Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Nail Yakupov.
Who did they have?
Who were their vets?
They had Smitty, didn't they?
I don't know. No. Ryan Smith I guess Ryan Smith was never really from what I understand, wasn't a good team guy. He was kind of a selfish player. I wasn't a fan of Ryan Smith, I'll tell you that.
He wasn't a winner. And there's a reason why he never
I was a fan of Alice Hemsky, though.
I like Alice.
I loved watching it. I'm not
a super skilled guy. He unfairly got called Alice a lot, but anybody who has to skate against Robin Regehr 8 times a year and has to go down his wing, oh my God.
But the things
that
he
guy's
did,
tougher than you think.
I still remember that Patrick Stefan,
that
blunder.
That gaff, that led to that crazy comeback.
He missed the open net, but that ain't his fault. The puck just bounces later in the.
Yeah, it was a bad bounce, but he gets railroaded for it. He gets lambasted for that. I just think the Flames right now are still stuck in this strange middle energy. They win enough to keep themselves in contention, but they're close enough to the bottom that they could start losing, and they could start securing a better pick. And still have a decent culture where kids aren't just mailing it in.
Goodness, did you see that setup by Jona?
That was a nice Neuschwander. That was a
We're
nice
watching
setup.
a highlight reel of Jona Neuschwander, 16 years old, 6'5".
And he's running him at center, too.
Wow, look at this kid,
Neuschwander.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a nice find. And they're running him at center. He's had some nice looks. He looks like he could be a center. I'm telling you, the 2027 draft,
he looked
there's a lot of centers
Flames
in that draft.
jersey. That last name,
that would. He looked pretty nice.
Of course, he can't wear 19 because Parek's 19, but
yeah,
he wears 82. I seen him wear 82.
He'll find a number on the Flames.
But yeah,
honestly, that'd be a pick I'd be looking into making for that Neuschwander. That 2027 draft looks all right.
Neuschwander actually looks more impressive than Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, McKenna. I don't know. McKenna, this tournament, to me.
He scored that beauty. Did you see that?
Sure, but against who was it?
Did you see that?
Denmark.
Oh, my goodness.
So what?
You'll never see McDavid make a move like that.
McDavid
isn't smart enough to have I
don't care what you think. McDavid's a better player than that.
I'll tell you what.
A far better player. McDavid was starring at the World Junior Championships for 2 World Junior Championships before he went into the NHL as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the skill to score like Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, he does.
No, he can't.
He does.
Yeah,
he's got the speed too.
McKenna, he's one knee injury away from just being a third line.
McKenna, I'm unimpressed.
Checking center.
Somebody's going to draft that kid first overall, and then they're going to spend the rest of his 20s wondering how this guy isn't a play driver. That guy looks more like Jonathan Huberdeau to me.
Stays healthy. I wish he stays healthy, but
Huberdeau.
if he gets a knee injury, He doesn't have
I
the
know
talent
you
to
keep
be
saying
able to.
this. Quit being a
He's
Flames
not a
fan.
Kucherov who can
I'm-
just skate half speed and set guys up like nothing.
That's true.
McDavid doesn't have that.
but
He has to
McDavid
create speed to
Is
create.
arguably a better two-way player than Kucherov.
Oh,
Kucherov's
McDavid
not a
is
two-way
nowhere
at all.
near two-way.
Kucherov is just like
McDavid's
blue
not
line
even
in.
a two-way.
All
I
Kucherov
don't
does
even
is
think
like wait
McDavid
till they get in the
looks
blue
in the
line and set
direction
up.
of his own goal.
I like Kucherov, but there's a reason why he was
McDavid's a
drafted
terrible
in the third
two-way
round.
player.
And he wasn't heralded as a generational
McDavid
talent.
gives up on
He's
the
not
plays.
terrible.
He's a quitter.
He's just not.
He quit on Edmonton in the
He's-
finals.
No, he didn't.
He's a loser.
No, he's
He's
not.
a loser.
He's made it to game
Big Allo.
7
Yeah.
of 2
on the
Stanley
back
Cup
of
finals
Leon
in a row.
Draisaitl. On the back
that's
of
what you
Leon
think of
Draisaitl.
Draisaitl. Yeah, right.
And even with Leon Draisaitl on one leg, carried Edmonton
Nah,
to the finals.
carried. No
and
way.
it was when Leon Draisaitl
No,
went
no,
out
no,
of
no.
steam, Edmonton had nothing.
No. It was
Edmonton had
McDavid
nothing.
played a bigger role than you think.
If Edmonton traded Leon Draisaitl for any other player in the league, right now, Edmonton would probably fall to last place in
No way.
the league.
No way.
They'll fall last place.
No
Leon
way.
Draisaitl.
Put another goal scorer on the wing. And
Leon
McDavid's-
Draisaitl is the
They're
engine.
scoring 50. Any other goal scorers
just
scoring
look at her
50
for a
with
while.
McDavid. McDavid's just too much of a headache, and nobody can stop him. And you're just unfairly targeting McDavid in discussion about McKenna and how unimpressive he looks. McKenna does
Kenna's
look
better. Skilled.
No way. No, McDavid, the only thing he can't do as a center is win faceoffs. Other than that, he can still play decently on
No,
defense.
not on defense.
Decently. He's
He's
not Barkov,
He's not
sure.
a decent defenseman.
He's decent.
No.
He's not Barkov, though. He's not a plus defender at center.
I would take Connor Zara's defensive play over Connor McDavid.
Connor Zary.
Connor
Plays
Zary.
left wing. He's a left winger.
I'd take him on a defensive play. I think
man.
Coleman's like 10 times
No,
better.
because like McDavid can use the speed to backtrack.
Defensively.
Yeah, Coleman is 10 times a better defensive player, but he's 10 times, 100 times less of an offensive player than McDavid is.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if McDavid gets forbid, if he ever got like a leg injury and he could only skate as fast as Coleman, Coleman will be 10 times better than McDavid.
Yeah, and if I had wings, I could fly. All these contingencies, sure, I get that. And you know what I mean? Like, if Canada had a stud goalie again, we'd probably feel better about going to the Olympics.
at that. Speaking
But look
of the
who's on the
devil.
TV right now. Gavin
Speak
McKenna.
of the devil.
Look at this kid, this giraffe-looking
say
kid.
his name
He's
and
got
he
no
shows.
muscle on him. The kid, he doesn't eat anything.
Hey,
What
Gavin
is his mom
McKenna's a
feeding
skilled
him?
guy.
He is, but what is his mom feeding him? You're going to spend a first overall pick on a 6 foot, 175 pound kid?
It's a different game.
No
It's a
way.
different game. Look
I
at
am
that.
not spending a first
How
overall pick
tall
on
is
this
he?
kid.
I
He's 6 feet barely.
I guarantee
Barely.
his neck is like 6 inches.
Yeah,
So,
he's got a giraffe neck. The kid needs to eat something. Like, what's he eating out there? He doesn't look strong at all.
He doesn't have to be strong.
He has to when he gets
He
to the NHL.
he is a talent.
Wait till he gets to
He
the
is
NHL.
a talent.
Sure, he's got nice hands.
He's not a
He
power
can deke.
forward.
I would rather
You
Pat
want to
Kane
turn
than him.
you want to turn McDavid into a power forward?
You think this guy's as good as Pat Kane? Not even close. Pat Kane is way better than McKenna.
Oh wait a second. Hey, Mr. Hypotheticals. Gavin hasn't even played a game in the NHL yet, so let's stop the comparisons with these guys. In 10 years, I could tell you right now, Gavin McKenna will be more valuable to his team than Pat Kane was to the Chicago
Yeah,
Blackhawks.
right. Oh, yeah, right. You're going to say he's got 2 cups in him. He's got 2 cups in him?
I love Pat Kane, but when I look at Gavin McKenna, what this guy is, this is the thing about it. You're looking at him right now. What I see
I'm looking
is
at
I
what
see
could be in the
I see a
future.
player, I see potential. I see
too.
potential. And McDavid did not have that vision when he was
Yes,
that
he
age.
did.
No, he didn't.
He had good
just
vision.
had speed.
He had speed and
He had
hands.
speed and he could not win. Even McDavid when he was in junior in his last year, he could not win. He could not win. And then he played on Team Canada with
Did McKenna win? He didn't win anything either.
he won. They won last year. The Medicine Hat Tigers won the league last
the
year.
league,
The
but they didn't win
WHL.
they didn't win the
It doesn't
Memorial
matter.
Cup.
Memorial Cup. McDavid never got a sniff at the Memorial Cup.
he never had a super
He never
team
had
like
a sniff.
McKenna had, though.
Never had a sniff.
McKenna had a super
McKenna
team.
won the. McKenna was the super team. Did you look at his stats
Oh,
when he
Lindstrom?
was playing? My goodness, better
Yeah.
than McDavid's stats with the Erie Otters. Pull it up right now. His stats were better than McDavid's.
They were.
with the Erie Otters, and he was a
Actually,
year
it's-
younger. He was a year
No,
younger.
There's
A
16-year-olds.
year younger than
It was
he
his
accomplished more than
16-year-old
McDavid. He accomplished more McDavid a year younger.
I don't know. McDavid's bigger.
And now he's
McDavid's
playing
faster.
NCAA. Hey, He's playing NCAA, and yeah, he's playing with men. He's playing with big boys. Hey, it's his potential. It's not what he's doing right now. It's his potential.
Sure.
That's what
and
it's
what
always
I see
about.
Is I see
when
a
it
skinny
comes to
playmaking
prospects.
guy.
That's why they're called
who looks
prospects.
like he's a little better ended, a little higher end Jonathan Huberdeau.
He's a little bit stiffer.
I don't see the leg strength and the puck protection capabilities
because he's
that
developing.
Patrick Kane had.
Because
I
he's
don't
a prospect.
See that. Yeah, he's a prospect.
Every single
but I
player
saw Kane
goes
as
through
a prospect. I saw Huberdeau as a prospect. I've seen Taylor Hall as a prospect.
I've seen Draisaitl as a prospect.
And they're all bigger than him.
Draisaitl
the only one who wasn't is Patrick
was low
Kane.
key, like he was like considered a decent two-way centerman, but yet he was like kind of. They said he was soft. They said. He didn't have the high-end offensive skills.
Draisaitl?
Everybody.
No.
When he was drafted.
No.
He was just going to be
third
drafted
overall
as a
for
decent.
a reason. He was drafted third overall because he had the high-end defensive abilities. He was a great playmaker. He was playing at center. It wasn't the greatest draft
and who was
year.
it? Sam Bennett was
taken
was
fourth.
actually the projected first overall for that year.
Yeah.
He was projected first.
Yeah, but
who
who would
went
have Calgary drafted?
Who went first overall? Was it Ekblad?
I think so, yeah. But who would they have drafted if they had the chance? Flames would have drafted Draisaitl.
Yes.
They've gone on record in saying it.
And I looked at Draisaitl then, as I look at him right now. I love Draisaitl when he was a Prince Albert Raider. And, he's with Edmonton, and it sucks to see him dominate. He even single-handedly beat Calgary when Calgary was kind of like trying to make the playoffs and they're doing well. Draisaitl just shows up after 10 days of injury.
On the power play.
Single-handedly.
On the power play.
No, it doesn't matter. Single-handedly just took over the game
Sure
and
he
decided,
does. On the power
Edmonton's going to
play.
win this game.
On the power play.
And that's something that McDavid needs a lot of help with.
No, he doesn't. McDavid had 5 assists last game.
He needs a lot of he needs a lot of help. Yeah. He was cleaning up on a team that wasn't really trying, and guess what happened? How many points did McDavid have last game against Calgary?
He had 1. He had 1, and he was involved
Calgary
in the
was
offense.
playing terrible.
They were playing terrible.
And then when they
tight.
actually turn it on, then where's
we
McDavid?
managed to
where's
keep the puck
McDavid?
out.
When they
he was
turned
right
it
there on
on?
the doorstep, getting denied.
He was
It
playing.
was Wolf and our defense barely pulled the game out of their rear ends, but they did. They did win that game 3-2. Edmonton pressing. Edmonton had no power play goals finally, and we didn't take as many penalties that we could have and normally do against a team like that is in our head.
So
Anyways, I like Draisaitl too. I liked him coming out of the draft, but he was always touted as a high-end center.
But he's better than
big
McDavid.
center. No.
If you want to win, you need a Mark
Barkov.
Messier. If
Need
you want to
Alex
win,
Barkov.
if you want to win, you need a Mark
You need
Messier.
Alex Barkov.
For every Lemieux, you need a Ron Francis. For a Steve Van Yzerman, you need a Fedorov. For a Joe Sakic, you need a Peter Forsberg. Who is better than Joe Sakic?
No way.
And then for
way.
and then 10
Like,
times.
health is a skill too. How
100
many
times.
games did Joe Sakic play versus Peter
Yeah,
Forsberg?
because Peter Forsberg played like his life was on the line every
Sure, he
single
did.
game.
He changed his game.
He played
I've
on a
given
different
Foppa
level
credit.
than any player in that era.
I'm giving
any
Foppa
player in
credit.
that era. Any player in that era, one-on-one, Peter Forsberg would wipe the floor with any of them. Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, even Connor McDavid today, he'd wipe the floor with in his prime.
Maybe because he's a
he
tougher and
lays
he's
it
a
on
better
the
two-way
line. He
player.
gave up his ankles. He
And
gave
his
him his
spleen.
concussions.
His spleen.
Yeah, he gave up everything to win.
He did.
Because he was obsessed about it
winning.
than any other player.
He was.
He's what? Who's the last player to have 6 points in a Stanley Cup Finals? During the Trap era, he had 6 points in the Stanley
Yeah,
Cup
but they were playing on
Finals.
super teams. Super teams, man.
That super team
Rob
is called
Blake,
Peter
Ray
Forsberg's
Bork,
back,
Adam
baby.
Foote, Patrick Waugh,
Just like
Forsberg,
Edmonton's,
Sakic.
they're
They had
playing
so many
right now
players.
and enjoying and relishing 2 Stanley Cups and a decent run because of a man named Leon Draisaitl's back.
You're off your mind.
You
You're
know?
out of your mind. You think it's all him.
It is all him.
He's out of
It
your
is
mind.
all him.
No way.
Because the moment he gets injured and starts missing games, Edmonton's completely useless.
I disagree.
McDavid could skate
They still
circles.
have- they
Could
still
skate
have
circles
McDavid.
all he wants. And even with Team Canada
Watch
last
the guy. He
year
breaks
against
down
Team
defenses
USA.
like he's a surgeon. The guy breaks down defenses.
Who?
McDavid.
Who?
I
What?
don't see.
What?
I don't see Leon
What?
Draisaitl
Surgeon?
breaking down.
Surgeon?
Breaking down a
No,
defensive structure.
because he just walks through them.
collapses.
He just grabs the puck and he walks right through whoever's in front of him and just snipes it
I
top
think you-
shelf.
I think you
because
undermine-
he's just like, I'll just do it this way. I don't need that
You
shit.
undermine how
I don't need a
vital a
Daisy
skill-
Duke around everybody to get a goal.
McDavid's
I'll
skill
just
set
go
is-
right through you and score.
McDavid's skill set is very, very unique. His
Again,
speed and his hands
you get-
playing at full
you get
speed.
too
His brain are
tied
top
to
of the NHL.
You get too tied to the Top Gun volleyball, man. You got to focus on the jet flying, man, on the main action, man. You're missing out, bro.
I follow the teamwork, and that's why I like Barkov. I'd rather Barkov than either of them, but I don't get to pick any of them because I'm a Flames fan, and all of those guys are top 3 picks, a 1, 2, and 3. I can't have any of them because my franchise never wants to fucking rebuild.
Well,
we
they never want
wanna
to
be
keep the
bad enough
players
to
that
get those
will
guys.
actually will help them rebuild the team. They never wanted to keep Fleury. They never wanted to keep. You know, we had
they
Doug
were cheap.
Gilmore.
They were cheap.
You know, they didn't want to keep. They didn't want to keep who else was it? They didn't want to keep Martin St. Louis. They didn't want to keep Mark Savard. You know, they didn't
We're
want to
cheap.
keep any of these guys.
We're cheap, and after Cliff Fletcher and Badger Bob Johnson and Terry Crisp, I don't think we had really good management that knew how to identify talent. And we paid the price because we weren't willing
Man,
to pay.
Badger Bob was so good. I love Badger Bob.
Yeah, and we were a very middling franchise that almost lost our franchise, and we couldn't in an era when there was no salary cap. We were never spending to the limit. We were never Detroit, never New York, never Boston, never Toronto. And it's just the only time we had a chance to do it was after Iggy and our Stanley Cup run, and then they lock us out.
But that was actually a fluke.
Bullshit.
That was a fluke right from the beginning because we weren't even expected to be in the playoffs.
Sure, and also Bertuzziing.
That's why.
What's his name again? Steve what?
What turned the tides of that
Idiot.
season?
It was Bertuzzi. It was Bertuzzi.
No, I'm not talking about like 08, 09. I'm talking about 04.
No, Bertuzzi, that was the year.
No,
Bertuzzi hit that
didn't
guy in
play
the
for
head.
us that year.
No, Bertuzzi, what was that guy from Colorado? He hit him in the back of the head, drove his head into the ice, broke his neck. I forget that plug's name. But anyways, Bertuzzi never should have done that because he hit Naslund. The West Coast Express line was the best line in hockey, bar none. Naslund, Morrison, and Bertuzzi were a house on fire. If Bertuzzi plays in that round 1 series against the Flames, we do not win at all.
No,
I watched
hypotheticals.
him play against Robin Regeer. He was the only guy in the NHL who could make Robin Regeer look like a kid. Robin Regeer looked flustered every time he played Todd Bertuzzi.
hypotheticals.
He couldn't do anything against Bertuzzi. They would have beat us if they had Bertuzzi, 100%.
Hypotheticals, man.
100%. They lost their arguably the most important power forward in
If
the
we
game.
had Tony Lidman through the whole playoff run running, then we would have won easy.
We did win.
If we
But
had Tony Lidman and like
It was a fluke, and being healthy and being
no,
available.
you're
being
missing the
available
point. I'm
is a
telling you,
skill.
what turned that season, the tide of that season for the Calgary Flames.
It was getting at Kiprasov.
yes, Mika Kiprasov.
Yes, who played
not
like
Joe
Allison.
McGinley,
No,
not Greg Conroy.
no, but we finally had a goaltender
Not David Moss.
who played out of his mind. David Moss.
Yeah, but not Robin. Well, Robin Regeer wasn't a complete stud, but Mika Kiprasov changed the whole outlook of that entire season.
He did.
Overnight.
We were looking like we were trending towards another
Overnight.
lottery pick. Before he got in there,
Overnight.
the 2002-2003 team, we had Joe McGinley who won an Art Ross, but we were still a bottom feeder team.
Yeah, he scored like what he.
He had 52 goals.
He got
and
screwed
44
out of
assists.
MVP
Yeah, they
because
gave it to
some
Jose
guy thought
Theodore.
Jose Theodore,
Bullshit.
who was just very
He was
relatively
more important
mid.
to that team than Jerome was
he
to
was
the Flames.
relatively mid.
The Flames were a hodgepodge of terrible players, and they had a Ginla. who
Jose
went
Theodore
off.
wasn't even the best goalie that year.
He
which
wasn't.
is
It was just like the
brutal.
Flames get screwed all the time. When it comes to like lottery picks,
Well,
when it
because
comes to rules, when it comes to the salary
now,
cap, it just drives me
all
crazy.
the
but-
analysts, all the writers, all the people who make the big decisions are East. That's the problem. They're in New York. They're in
It
Montreal.
sounds like Canadian
they're
politics.
in Toronto.
Much like
no,
Canadian
it's all in the
politics.
East.
It's true,
Still
that's what I
today.
mean, that's
Still
what I
today.
mean.
All the analysts that vote on these awards, they're all in the East. The NHL league offices are in New York.
I know.
You know, and then all of these stations like Sportsnet, ESPN, all of these major TSN, they're all
based
in
in the
the East. So like everyone who's getting a look, so it's no fluke why, you know, Hudson's going to win the Calder over Dustin Wolf, who basically
I know. Don't you get you started on that? That was another travesty.
who had
Lane Hudson. That guy
a
had how many
monumental season
power play
and
points?
single-handedly almost brought Calgary, like Kiprasov, into the playoff, into the show.
Into the playoffs. Like,
So
Dustin
all we
Wolf
need
played out of his
is to
mind.
get into the show with Dustin Wolf, and we could have an 0-4 chance,
Like
baby.
the definition of
We
the
could
award
have
is
an
the
0-4
most
chance.
valuable rookie.
Yeah.
Like, what's more valuable? Some secondary assists and power play points? Or a guy who backstocks a team that should be high in the lottery to nearly a playoff spot? Like, it makes perfect sense to
And
me.
he's doing it again this year.
Again, I don't know how he keeps...
Again.
And this is why we talk about, I don't know if Calgary can fully rebuild because he's going to steal more games than we should be in. And goalies are the most valuable player in the NHL. And if these guys can steal games single-handedly, and we have a defense that complements him because we know we have this star goaltender. And it's just like, I think, honestly, once you trade Rasmus, you lose a lot of offense. Like, he is one of our biggest offensive catalysts. And once you lose him, our offense falls off a cliff.
No. Matt
think so.
Vigradine needs to get more playing time.
Matt
up at the big-
Vigradine, he's
Matt
going to save us
Vigradine,
once Rasmus
the
Anderson
next
gets traded.
Pasternak.
Nah. You need a
next
centerman who can get him
Pasternak.
the puck. Let him develop, over-ripen in the AHL. He looks good, but he's still young and takes chances. He is not ready for the show. He is not ready for playing against guys like Slovene, and he's not ready for playing against these guys, which we're going to transition to into the third period. We're going to talk about some rosters. But I think that's a good topic. The Flames have been playing better, much to my chagrin, and I hope they trade some guys before the trade freeze happens before the Olympic break. But, yeah, they're playing better, and it scares me. So,
Yep. So
hit that.
I don't
hit
know
that
what
horn.
the purpose of this conversation was originally.
We're
I
talking
know we
about the
started
Flames.
off
They've
Gavin
been playing
McKenna,
better. We're talking about
and
Ball.
all of a sudden,
And we're talking about Ball and
Zach's-
Kuznetsov.
all of a sudden, Zach's comparing Gavin McKenna to McDavid right now.
No, I don't think McKenna is worth the number overall pick. Picking a winger number one overall, they got to be Alexander Ovechkin like. I don't think McKenna is even close to what Ovechkin is, and I don't think you sink that
That's
big
why
of a
you
pick
draft guys based on potential.
on potential. But does
On
he
potential.
potentially going to play center? No.
Think of it this way.
No, he looks like a winger.
Think of it this way, Zach. Everyone slept on Steph Curry when he came into the league, and then he revolutionized the entire
Sure. Okay,
league.
so you're basically equating him to Steph Curry. You
Yes.
think Gavin McKenna is going to
Yes.
revolutionize the NHL?
Yes.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Put it on Tim. All right.
Yes.
End of the second period. Hit the horn.
And Gavin's going to win a cup before McDavid.
What's the second intermission? Who's it brought to you by? I'm going to pick the second intermission is brought to you by Zevia Pops. If you love pop but hate the sugar and you don't want aspartame, drink Zevia. Zevia is fantastic. It gives me that pop feel without any of the guilt. And stevia is a bit bitter, but it does give you enough sweetness to make you think you're drinking pop in some
Stick
of those
with the
flavors.
root beer.
The root beer is good. The ginger ale is good. The Coke tastes like Diet Coke, but it's better because there's no aspartame in it. And then the cream soda is low key the best. My buddy Matt, he's sucking on a grape flavored pop. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
What's the first initial thought?
The Peanut Gallery just woke up.
Peanut Gallery just woke up after his nice nap in his native star blanket that I got for Christmas from my other
After
mom.
his quick bust,
After
secret
his quick
bust. and
bust.
sleep.
Oh, he had a big sip. What does it taste like? Does it taste like grape
Is
pop,
that a
Matthew?
grape?
He likes the grape better than the
calls
other
the
one.
grape
He likes
Zevia.
the grape Zevia. It'll surprise you. You get it like a 30-pack at Costco for pretty cheap, considering that there's no price on your health that you're leveraging just for a little bit of momentary refreshment.
Yeah, maybe
Zevia
a
Pops.
little bit of acidity, you know.
Yeah, there's no acidity in it. It's just
it's
it's just
bubbly.
carbonated water, bubbly, and then just flavoring with some Zevia. It's nice. So anytime you feel like you want to pop and you don't like the sugar,
Still
you feel like
acidity, bro.
I think it's not much. Like, they don't put citric acid in it though.
But it's bubbly.
It's bubbly, but they can get nitrogen.
Bubbly water is
but
acidic.
nitrogen isn't. But it's not though.
It is.
But that's because they use certain flavorings like citric acid and stuff.
Let's pull out the pH scale.
Let's pull it out. But Zevia is our
Whip
second
it out.
intermission sponsor. Cowboy is scared that we keep naming all these companies that we don't have any legal affiliation to, and people may sue. Go ahead, sue us. What do we care?
Yeah, we'll give you Cowboy's address.
We'll give you his address, and you can
We'll
moose
say
him.
this is our producer.
And you
He's
can
the
fold
one
him.
who gave us the bright idea of starting a podcast.
Yeah, and now here we are, so blame
Yeah,
him.
and he's like, yeah, but of course his idea was, getting Zach all, high on drugs. And then, I just questioned him and stuff like that. But
We'll do that another day. That'll be a different podcast for another time. But so far, it's Tim and Zach, not Tim and Eric. Great show, awesome job. Maybe we'll make a pun on that. But yeah, Zevia pops for a second intermission. All right, third
you
intermission.
need some tea before you get those Z's.
Hit the horn, Timmy. All right, face off. Who wins the face off?
We are in the third period.
Third period. Who wins the face off? You win the
I
face off.
think it was a draw on the winger ticket.
The winger won the face off. That was a team face off right there. So what we're going to talk about is some teams.
So
we're talking about our podiums.
We're talking about team
Rosters,
Canada,
Olympic rosters.
We're going to briefly discuss. Let's do the podium first, and then we'll discuss Team Canada. So our podium for this round of the pod is going to be because as of right now, we only know the American and Canadian rosters.
So our podium is top 3 omissions for each team according to us. So we'll start with the Canadian team first because we're a Canadian. Timmy, tell us, who are your top 3 omissions from Team Canada, please?
My top 3 omissions from Team Canada.
Yeah.
Well, first off, it has to be Benny.
Sam Bennett? Yeah, it's a big one. Me too.
Benny, how in the world do you leave off a guy who scored 2 big goals in the biggest game against America for gold at the Four Nations tournament, and then he goes on to win the Conn Smythe, dominating in Stanley Cup, and then, he is the biggest. If there's anyone in the league that you can put money on to show up when
Matters the most.
Yeah. And we just seen look at that defensive play. Look at that, man.
Yeah, it was nice play by
Noise Fonder using his
he's
size.
He's your boy. Center.
Amazing.
Playing at center.
16 years old. This kid is going to be a freak. This kid's going to be a freak in the league.
Yeah, they need a forward like that.
Oh my goodness, man. We need any team he goes on is going to win the cup the first year. But like Benny, how do you leave? Like, I don't know. Armstrong, I don't know. He has just a lot of dust in his brain. And then because, he's an old duster. And then, I don't know, Cooper's still living off of his, the last thing he ever won was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, still, he won.
He's still living off of that whatever. And he's been cleaned up in the last 4 years by Florida and whoever else. And I don't know why these like Canada, just stick with the best on best. Quit sticking with these guys. I don't know if you owe them money. I don't know if these guys have can blackmail you guys because pretty much we're talking about Hockey Canada. There's nothing you can blackmail them because their reputation's just completely ruined. So they don't know how to, devise a team or anything like that. So they're bringing these old dinosaurs, these guys who were relevant, 10 years ago? When did St. Louis win their cup? 2018?
99.
2018, St. Louis?
Yeah, 2018.
2018,
19 was it?
17 or whatever. Like those guys haven't been Armstrong has not been relevant, and obviously, if you look at this year, St. Louis is not relevant. They basically made the playoffs last year by the team they were battling for the last spot basically sneezed and they got in. So St. Louis is literally just on fumes right now. They're barely a team. And you got these guys like Armstrong picking the team. You got Cooper. But, okay, so but on my gold podium, we got Benny. Benny is the one who's because I'm going to go forever on this. We can talk about this more after we do our podium. I just realized. So Benny's my gold. I would also say another player that they kind of slept on or whatnot was Connor Bedard. That's my silver. I think Connor Bedard has so much to offer this team right now. And And unfortunately, because of, the excuse is injury, but we knew that Canada is like that. That's just the thing about Canada. They're just, they just want to be cocky, and not pick, players that should be on this team. They're because they're complete nut jobs. But, and then when we're looking at defense, I'll tell you what, Matthew Schaefer, he is one of the best defensemen in the league. Who gives a shit about age? Matthew Schaefer is one of the best players, defensemen for Canadians. Like, I can only think of Makar being better than Matthew Schaefer right now. Other than that, Matthew Schaefer, yeah, he's young. Yeah, but Matthew Schaefer, he never had a chance, last year to prove what he could do with Team Canada. I'll tell you what, if Matthew Schaefer didn't get injured, Canada would have been winning gold. But Matthew Schaefer is my bronze. He should have been on this Team Canada. He definitely would bring so much more life to this team, and having him, Bedard, and Celebrini, what a storyline would have that been. Like, it would terrify. Like, if Canada somehow won gold with those guys on the team, and then people saying, "Oh, look at this," not only is Canada still tops in the world, now you got to look at Matthew Schaefer being the best defenseman in the league in a couple of years, and then you got to look at Connor Bedard and Celebrini, who are going to basically destroy this league offensively for the next decade or more. So, past McDavid's prime and McKinnon. So, those are my picks for Canada. Let's go to you, Zach, about your omissions.
So Benny, you picked Benny, you picked Bedard, and then Schaefer. Okay, yeah. That's cool. Honestly, two of those are like my honorable mentions, but my number one glaring omission is Sam Bennett as well. Like, that guy oozes leadership, oozes an ability to up his game in big games. He's tough without hurting you, and he has enough hands to make it count when he's given an opportunity and to get you on the board. And he's also the type of guy who's going to stand up and fight a bigger opponent. He'll do whatever he has to win. And I think you don't ignore guys like that with this roster composition. Like Nick Suzuki, I don't know. His versatility over the confidence that a guy like Benny brings, I think is a massive oversight, massive mistake. Suzuki has shown me nothing other than he can be on a middling team and he can eat power play minutes and that ample ice opportunity, and he can put up some decent stats. He's not putting up the type of stats that, when it counts the most, that he's winning a Conn Smythe. Bennett is a Conn Smythe winning two-time Stanley Cup champion. You put that pedigree on our team, and no matter what, a fucking massive oversight by Doug Armstrong. What an idiot indeed. And I don't know, this team that he's made. Another one, my other omission is people are really sleeping on this guy, but Mark Scheifele. Mark Scheifele, he's an extra centerman. He's an extra centerman, big body, right-handed, skilled player, can play the wing. He's tough and nasty. That guy bleeds Canadian. That guy would have been a very valuable player over some of these other guys that they have there.
Underrated grinder.
Running out there like Hagel. Get the heck out of here. Brandon Hagel. Are you serious? Sorelli? Talk about team bias. Like, what are Cooper and Armstrong doing?
Get that lasagna
They're putting
out
their
of
own team. They're putting their own team loyalty over nation loyalty. That is a crime, and this regime should change henceforth herewith as soon as possible. But I still think we have a chance because our top end skill is so good. And then the third guy, I'm going to say my bronze. Nobody's talking about him very much, but Jacob Chychrun. I don't know how Jacob Chychrun isn't on this team. He's big. He's got size. He's got offensive ability. He's a good skater. He's good in his own zone. How is that guy not ahead of Devon Toews? They're taking this, he plays with Makar. Devon Toews is a shrimp. What is Devon Toews going to do against Brock Nelson? Going to do against Austin Matthews? What's he going to do against JT Miller? You know what I mean? I just don't see it. Where do these guys come for you, Devon Toews? Stay home with your family. Welcome your child into the world that you're about to give birth to. Congratulations. But my goodness, you are not the best on best caliber defenseman. I was listening to Chris Pronger on the Spittin' Chicklets. I was hearing him talk, or the hockey show, that one on nationally syndicated with Kyprios. And, he's saying that most of these defensemen wouldn't be number 7 defensemen back when he played on our teams. Mind you, we had so many number 1 defensemen to choose from, and now it's a dearth of number 1 defensemen. We don't have any number 1 defense. Well, you had Bork,
like
Pronger,
Larry Murphy,
Duncan Keith,
Eric Desjardins.
That's back in the 90s.
my
I'm talking
goodness.
like the 2000s too. You had Doughty, you had Duncan Keith, you
Niedermeyer,
had Niedermeyer, you had Pronger. You had these stalwarts. We don't have guys like that to choose from this time.
Scott Stevens, yeah.
So, but even then, like, I don't know how you're not taking Chikrin over
Robin Regeer.
Taves. Taves, to me, is not a good enough defenseman. He does not bring anything that's really bumping Chikrin off the docket at all. Either with Sanheim or Harley, I don't know how any of these guys are ahead of Chikrin.
Deserves to be on this
Chikrin
team
deserves
for
to be
sure,
on that
100%.
team, and they are snubbing him, and I think is a huge mistake, and I do not understand why.
I think it's his name.
Maybe his dad's
It
American.
should be Buffalo Run.
It really pisses me off. Honestly, I think it's a really poor composition. You're missing out on Seth Jarvis. He's an honorable mention to me, and I think
He's injured right now, but he
he'll
could be
back.
healthy. Yeah,
And I think the system he plays with, Rob Bidmore, that type of speed and that type of offensive punch looks good on our wings, which we don't kind of have. But instead, we're running out Hagel and Sorelli.
Yeah.
And I think Stone and some of these older players, yes, they're a little bit long in the tooth, but I'd like to see them at least be competitive in those camps. And that's where I would want to, as honorable mention, you make Bedard and you make Schaefer part of this taxi squad. You make these kids part of the team so they can practice at this level of pressure and see what it's like to play in these type of energies. We got to groom them to take the mantle eventually, and I think that's a massive oversight. But I'm sticking with my 3. There are others. I think Kevin Ball could have got an invite to the camp, as what he is. If they're bringing out Slavine, Jacob Slavine doesn't give you anything on offense, but what he gives you defensively is all world. And I like what the Americans have done with their team. Couple of omissions I think that are notable, but we'll get into those. Timmy, start with your American omissions. Who's your platform? Who's on your podium for American omissions?
Hudson with Montreal.
You think he's an omission?
I would say he's a bronze.
Okay, it's your pick. It's your pick, but
Yeah, no, I think he's a unique one. He's basically where we want Perek to be, say, next year. Hudson is a wonderful defenseman. He's not better than Dustin Wolf, mind you, whatever Montreal reporters would say. But Hudson, for what he is, that's my bronze. I just think because he's, I like the young guys. I'm a bias towards the young guys getting shots. I really like to see when young guys get an opportunity, and young guys who can play. And can prove, like, even though in a time of old bastards, these guys can show up and show them up even too. So, and then for my silver for U.S., Dustin Wolf. At least a third, but I'll tell you what, Dustin Wolf deserves to be on this team.
I agree.
Hellebuck, yeah, but
Sure,
Hellebuck hasn't done nothing to prove
In the playoffs, no.
that he deserves to be on his team. And even in the last tournament, Hellebuck had his shaky moments. I think Dustin Wolf is the new age goalie. We're moving out of this big, Statue Liberty type of goalies. Dustin Wolf is the next gen.
I disagree with that.
He's like the Quinn Hughes of goalies.
I just,
He's
I sure would say
the
that.
game. Yeah, I know Zach likes them big and
Well,
thick.
I'm just saying the
and,
league. The league shows
sweaty
us.
and,
the league shows us that
raunchy.
they defer to taller, bigger goaltenders.
Yeah, no, but that's always been a thing.
Well, no,
the taller guy.
that's been a recent thing. Yeah,
Yeah, well, in the last 20 years, it's been
Yeah.
like big
Good
guys.
thing. Big guys at goal.
Big guys.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
the smaller guys don't go get
But
picked like a
Dustin
Dustin Wolf,
Wolf is-
who was a 7th rounder. The Flames passed on him 6 times, and so did every other team, if not 7.
Yeah, but yet
Because he's too small,
It's
they
a
thought.
crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. You can't decide. But Dustin Wolf proved it. Every single league he played in, he
a winner.
dominated. He dominated the league. And he's doing that with Calgary. He's stopping Calgary from being a bottom feeder. He's giving us
Yeah.
life for playoffs.
And he's the heir apparent in the United States locker room.
And-
I think it's a huge oversight. I agree with you.
He's taken a mid-level team and bringing them to,
No, he's
bringing
taking
them within the sniff of the playoffs.
he's taking a bottom basement team and turning them into a middling team that could sniff the playoffs. You're
Yeah,
right.
and like the last goalie to do that, if you actually look back in time, the last goalie to do that was
Jaguar.
Dominic Hasek.
or Jaguar.
No, Jaguar
Jaguar
had
won a
Paul
Conn Smythe.
Correa.
Sure, he had Paul Correa and
Like
Scott
Flames
Niedermayer.
don't have a Paul Correa like
you're right,
anywhere on this roster.
Well, Dominator had Mike Pekka.
They had Matthew Gradine, who's
Stu
a Paul
Barnes.
Correa like.
Stu Barnes. Okay, so that's your number 2.
Stu Barnes.
That's your number 2.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3?
The number 1 omission, Jason Robertson.
Yeah, RoboCop.
Robertson played sensational against Canada last year, and Robertson is actually has the second most goals, I believe in the last 3 years of any player. Robertson is basically a finisher, a pure, and I think I like Gensel, but I think Robertson could have been a better choice than Gensel. I think Gensel's a really one-dimensional type player. I think Robertson, for what he does and his big body, he has that unique flair about him where he does different things that really throws goalies off, and I think that's kind of what you need when you need that one goal. You need that one chance. And Robertson makes scoring look relatively easy when he gets right in that area, in the slot, or even around the net. And I think that's what U.S. will probably miss because, U.S. does have a lot of, skill on their team, but a lot of these skill guys are relatively kind of perimeter to some degree. And, you're not really having a lot of those, maybe you'll have, if they stay healthy, the Kachuk boys, but I think that's probably the only hole I see with the U.S. is not having that very skilled, kind of in front of the net presence, Robertson, who can basically, he could play out on a power play and he can play inside. He could be effective and dangerous, doing a one-timer on the top of the circle, and he could be absolutely dangerous within 2-3 feet of the net. So he has a dynamic about him that would just make their power play absolutely a unit. But as far as Canada, I think Canada will probably have probably one of the best power plays just because it's you could throw Crosby, McKinnon, McCarr, McDavid, basically all their cards on one. But U.S. will basically maybe have the second and third best power play behind Canada with their 1 and 2 units because they're so highly, their depth is insane when it comes to the skill and oh my goodness, someone just got checked from behind.
Literally, he got checked from behind.
But Jason Robertson,
he was a check. He got checked in behind.
I wish he.
Yeah.
I kind of like giving the Nelson nod. Nelson, the former Islander, the current Av. That's cool. I love Vinny Trocheck. Vinny Trocheck is a fantasy stud. This year, not so much, but for the last 5 years, Vinny Trocheck has been a fantasy stud when it comes to Yahoo Hockey and Mice and Gods, our commish J-Ro we had on last pod. But I love Vinny Trocheck. He's not a big player, but he's a gamer. He could do the two-way. He can do the face-off. He can battle. He can score. He can play skill. He can grind. I think that's an underrated pick. And I think U.S. really recognizes what
he
guys
brings.
like Trocheck.
Yeah, what he brings.
And that's the kind of guy I'd like to have on my team too. If the Flames move Rasmus to New York, I'd like to see Vinny coming the other way.
No, he's too old, man. He's past his prime, but I do like what he brings. I did like what he has brung to the NHL, and he's a lot tougher pound for pound than you'd think. And he's a power center. He wins faceoffs. He can play on your power play, play on your penalty kill. He can hit to hurt. He's a very complete center. I'll give you that.
He's as closest to a Marchand, but without
without
the
antagonizing thing. No way.
Without the hatred towards him. But
he's a unique player.
But
he kind of reminds me a bit like Michael Pekka.
Yeah, he has that Michael Pekka-esque
He's a
vibe.
two-way guy. He can score. He can hit. Plays defense, and he was a tough guy to play against at center, which is a rare player to find and have.
Well, Michael Pekka was Canadian.
He was a Canadian boy. But yeah, I think those are good omissions. Any honorable mentions on that squad?
Honorable mentions for the U.S. team. Ghost Bear.
Ghost Bear. Yeah, that's only because you want him to be on the Adam Fox for us.
I don't
so that
give
we
a
could
care.
just destroy
Adam
them.
Fox, it was obvious that Adam Fox could not keep up with in the big games.
Much to the Canadian
he
fans'
costed
delight.
America a couple goals last year.
Especially the gold win.
Big goals,
The
yes.
winning goal.
Yeah.
Czech scores again. Czech took over this game.
But yeah,
Checkmate.
Adam Fox, I'm so glad that Calgary got rid of him because the guy can't skate. The guy is just
He's a power play. He's a power play only player.
he's a trash bucket.
He's this guy
with
who wins.
hands.
He's a guy who wins a Norris Trophy.
He's a trash bucket
But
with hands.
only 'cause
and
he's on a
win a
good
Norris Trophy basically of sympathy and fact that he played on New York, which basically has all the voters for the trophy.
It's true.
So,
But he had the. He
it
had
was
sexy
very
points. And it goes to show it's my same criticism for Lane Hudson winning Rookie of the Year. It's like he has a lot of power play points, but how valuable is he really to winning? And Dustin Wolf was far more valuable. Okay, so that's a good honorable mention.
Habs are doing pretty well right now, mind you that.
They're doing okay.
And he's their best defenseman.
No, he's not.
Better than Dobson.
Matheson is better than him.
Better than the Hobbit
Dobson is a pretty good defenseman who I'd say
Dobson, the Hobbit.
He could have been an honorable mention left off that team, but
I just say that because Dobson sounds like what you would name a Hobbit.
Oh, the ring is so heavy now, Sam.
my omissions from the American team, pretty much the same as yours. Like I have Robertson. I think that's a big mistake for them. I think Dustin Wolf is another big mistake. I think you got to groom Dustin Wolf to take over for Hellebuck when he's ages out, and him
Wouldn't
and
Zach
Ottinger
like to groom him?
when he's a good option beside Ottinger. I think he's a better option than Swayman. Swayman had a terrible year last year, and he's been okay this year. He hasn't been anything remarkable this year.
Calgary kind of handled him last game.
Yeah, kind of handled him pretty good. And that was the team coming off like how many losses in a row. They were hungry, and they beat up Edmonton the next game. But, I don't know. I just don't see Swayman as better than Wolf, and I think it's another omission of the West. Again, the only guys in the West you have are Ottinger and Hellebuck, who are known commodities. But even then, Ottinger hasn't won anything. So, I don't know. I think Wolf was the better choice as a big omission. He is a throwback to when goaltenders actually used to be able to stop a puck and not just have their giant body get in the way. And I like the way he plays. Obviously, I don't like how he keeps us in these games that we should be losing, that we should be getting closer to good picks as a result.
He's the Mike Vernon of the future.
Kinda. He's a little guy who makes big stops and plays bigger than his britches. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
So,
and guess what? Mike Vernon, what is he? A Conn Smythe Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say my third person on the podium. My first is RoboCop. My second is Wolf, and then my third is going to go off the board a bit here, but Blake Coleman. I think the versatility and what Blake Coleman does is perfect for that team. They don't have anybody on that team who does that except for Trocheck.
Blake Coleman can do anything
I think he can do anything you want. He can score, play physical, kill penalties, put him on a power play. He'll crash the net.
Man.
Exactly. Put him in front of the net. He'll be what you need.
He's so good in front of the net.
So he's a good Swiss Army knife, and they missed an opportunity when he's playing at his prime in Calgary. And I think they just ignored him because of an anti-Calgary bias.
And he has
or
a
Western
tenacity
bias.
about him.
He has a tenacity. He has a multifaceted.
He has a dog in him.
He's got the dog in him. And I think it's good for us because they're going to pick a guy like Clayton Keller. They're going to pick a couple of these, Dylan Larkins. They're going to pick those guys, and you're going to leave off Robertson and Coleman.
And maybe he'll get us a first rounder this year.
Thank you. And I think he'd be a good trade candidate because he's keeping us in a lot more games than we have business being in. And he is a very valuable player.
He's a winner. He's a definite winner.
He's a winning player. And, he was a vital cog in that Tampa Bay team. And they paid a high price for him because his contract was so low coming out of New Jersey. There was such a good salary cap hit that he was such a valuable contributor, him and Yanni Gord. And,
and his line was the first line every single game that year.
Yeah, they were.
They were the starting lineup, even though they're like the third line?
Second line.
But they were the starting lineup.
They were, and they did most of the offensive damage on that team.
Yeah. They shut down.
They shut down, and they came up with big goals. And I think Coleman was a good choice for them, and they overlooked him. And good, thank you from Canada, from the bottom of my heart, because I watched that guy play, and I know how much of a dog he is in a fight. And I don't want to see him out there. And luckily, he's not going to be out there because their GM is dumb, and their GM doesn't know how to value a good composition, and they just go for skill on the wing, skill it forward. The only real good pick that isn't skill is Trocheck and Brock Nelson. Those are the only ones I think are going to cause problems for other teams, especially Brock Nelson. I think Brock Nelson's going to be a handful. He's big. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to be a load on that third line. He might even get elevated to second, but he's going to be a haul for guys like Devon Taves and Josh Morrissey, who I don't think should have any business sniffing on this roster. I like Morrissey, but that guy he is barely above average offensively, and he's barely above average defensively. Like, he is not a number one in any true sense of the word. Just because he is there in Winnipeg doesn't make him league wide. I'd say
Winnipeg is where they're at right now.
Yeah, and they're stuck in
with
Winnipeg.
a healthy Morrissey, and like they haven't been.
Yeah, exactly.
They're looking at getting McKenna. Eh?
Yeah, well, they're slipping and they're falling down in the draft. And
Who would have thought
Connor he's not a big time player, so they got a lot of questionable guys who put skill over heart, and even Matthews. Matthews has never shown us anything. Matthews has never shown us anything other than he can score when the times are good. Yeah, and you take away his stud playmaker, and now look what happens to him. He looks like a bum. And you know what? Toronto deserves to be where they are because they got a bum of a captain like that.
So Zach, you had a good point there. Kyle Connor. 100% Jason Robertson in his place.
Easy, all day.
All day.
What do you even want? Like, what do you want? Day. You want a guy who scores in big minutes?
Kyle Connor
can play a heavy game, or you want a guy who looks good on a power play?
I am surprised because Kyle Connor faded so hard
every
in the
playoff.
Four Nations.
Every playoff, every big game he does.
Four Nations. He was a healthy scratch in the Canada game.
See, I know, because they knew he was a pox. He was a plague, and they got him back here. Oversight. And you know what? I just think it's ridiculous, to tell you the truth. Honestly, I think it's a real bad move on their part, but I'm thankful because I want them making bad moves. I want them putting together a roster that looks how they put skill over chemistry. Great. Thank you. Thank you from Canada, because we need it, because this is the weakest pool of talent we've ever had, and it's kind of scary, and this is going to transition us into overtime. So I think that hits it for the end of the third period. Hit the horn.
All right.
All right, who's the intermission? The overtime intermission brought to us by Timmy.
The overtime intermission is brought to you by any lawyer out there that will protect us if we get attacked for wrongfully getting sued for bringing up names of sponsors who ain't actually sponsors. So any lawyer out there who wants to sponsor this pod and get some free
airtime with our 60
we
listeners.
know you're lawyers. We know you guys are shit loaded with money, but we're willing to give you free advertisement. So reach out to us. Well, maybe, give us some of that ched, Keep this podcast, alive.
Or at least give us that ched by keeping us alive and not charging us for legal fees that are through this roof.
and we'll 100% go straight to you when any of these companies that we wrongfully
associate with our
brand, on our pod that
send us
want nothing to do with us.
Send us more than cease and desist.
We'll probably have to send a cease and desist to Cowboy, because he'll probably be the first one to sue us.
Direct that to
his
Cowboy,
name.
Please.
Yeah, Zach gets his one jab in every pod. And it's going to happen until, I guess, Cowboy makes an appearance. So this is the call out, I guess. Let's just switch it up here. Let's make this sponsor of this
no, I like your sponsor.
Overtime.
I like your sponsor.
The lawyers and also Cowboy Smith.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr.
All right, there's
Cowboy.
our sponsor. All right, going into going into overtime. Oh, I take the puck on the face-off. So this overtime is about what Mark Messier said. Mark Messier went on record and said, "You will never see another Jerome McGinley. You will never see another Mark Messier. You will never see another Cam Neely. You will never see another Eric Lindros in Canadian hockey, because hockey is turning into a rich kid sport, and the amount of talent that we're missing out of that can't afford to get to the top development is happening. It's
turning into tennis.
It's turning into basically tennis and golf. And it's so sad because Canada, for the longest time, we were the most feared collection of talent around the world when it came to hockey. During the 60s and 70s, they knew that the shock troopers that fought in World War I and II became the hockey players on the cycle those decades following. And we have lost that, and we were going to lose that, and the proof is in the pudding. We have a few high-end superstar franchise talents at center in Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid, and then we got Makar, but we do not nearly, oh my God, that girl from Czechia was hot. And we do not nearly have the talent Canada once boasted. And I think it is a bigger problem than we recognized. And these right-to-play kid sport, these organizations would like to have us believe we are not getting enough talent into our pipeline, and we are going to suffer. And places like United States are going to surpass us. Their population 10 times the size of Canada, eventually is going to start breeding out athletes. You can see it. You can see the Boldies. You can see the Larkins. You see the Robertsons. You see these kids coming. They may not be the meanest, but they're big and they're good. And if you're not mean with skill, like Canada traditionally has been, we are going to lose our place at the top of the hockey world. And that's just going to be how it is. And the 90s and the early 2000s are going to be these romantic times that we'll never see again. And And even though Jerome McGinley, his dad was a lawyer, Jerome McGinley still had to face tons of racism growing up in Alberta hockey because of how terrible the officials are at adjudicating taunts and slurs from the crowd, and then also favoritism from the officials. And you know all about this. After you told me what happened to your team, Timmy, I went to Hockey Canada's website. On their website, it says, we try to maintain a positive experience for all who play in our tournaments, which is a fucking lie. And then you also, and I took my complaints to Global, and I hope Global runs this story. I don't know if they're going to get back to me. I think there's a story here, but I don't think it's news to anybody. But Hockey Canada is extremely racist. Hockey Alberta is extremely racist. The way they treat native teams who participate in all these tournaments and minor league events is completely unfair, biased. And, and my friend Cowboy, he told me, like, we talk about this stuff, and he says, it's not helping these kids who are getting favoritism. It's not helping them either. They're not going anywhere.
It's bad for their development.
It's bad for their development too. And that's what we're missing out on. And, and we're missing out on all these kids that come from the reserve who are these athletic specimens who have just as much passion and fire to play. And we're forgetting this. Like, what the hell is happening here? What the hell is happening, Canada? We're going to lose our edge, and it's coming. And the day of reckoning is coming. Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, and Quinn Hughes are going to be a terror on defense for us. And you don't think so? I watched Charlie McAvoy before he got injured, how he was frustrating McDavid. Good defense can frustrate good offense, and that's all they need. But our high end hopefully rescues us again. But there's no Adam Fox that we can blame some poor D-zone coverage on this time. There's not that we're seeing on this. The only thing we can hope that is their wingers aren't going to be greasy enough to get into the dirty areas.
Or 4 or 5 of their players get injured.
Or 4 or 5 of their players get injured. But I think Mark
Messier
Messier is right.
Jason Robertson will be on the team.
I think Mark Messier is right. Like, Mark Messier came from humble beginnings, very humble. He was not a rich
Edmonton,
kid.
Alberta.
A lot of these, the Sutters, Gordie Howes, these
Viking,
guys,
Alberta.
These guys were not rich people playing the game. These guys were
Gordie
poor
Howes,
farmers
Saskatchewan,
who, as an escape, and it was their way to escape the drudgery of prairie life. Those people rose up to be the Trottiers, who rose up to be the Brindamores, who rose up to be the Cam Neelys of this world. We're not going to see these. We have Tom Wilson, but he is a nice addition. I think he gets a good credit. And you're right. You've been saying a guy like Tom Wilson opens up a lot of ice time. You just got to hope that he doesn't hurt us by losing his cool and going as a headhunter.
No, he's hell of a smart now than he was
smartened up.
5 years ago or 4 years ago.
He's still a liability in a wild card, though.
But definitely
he's arguably our best winger we have there, though.
There's a potential that Tom Wilson could be probably McDavid's
number one wingman.
Best wingman, and because with him on the ice, like, McDavid's going to have so much room out there.
Yeah.
And he knows where Tom Wilson is. He throws it to the front of the net. Tom Wilson's
there. And the thing is, people underestimate how good of a goal scorer Tom Wilson is.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson's is a legit 20-goal scorer in modern NHL times, with being a legit enforcer heavyweight.
He's as close as we can get to, like, a modern Bob Probert type of thing.
Probert, Chris Simon, yeah.
Yeah. He's not at that level, but I would say Chris Simon had huge underrated offensive skills. See, this is the problem. His
snapshot. My buddy Rudy is his cousin.
Yep.
And he told me that their grandfather taught Chris to have a snapshot, not slap shot, have a snapshot, learn a snapshot, quick release, a lot of power. And that's how he became the scorer he was. And he got sadly cast into the enforcer role because he was a big Indian, and they got he can only be good at fighting, obviously. He's not as good as, who was that guy for the Boston Bruins, that native kid, that guy from, what was he? Reggie Leach.
Oh no, that's Philadelphia Flyers.
Reggie Leach, Boston Bruin, and Philadelphia
Oh,
Flyers.
I don't think there was anyone as good a scorer as Reggie. There's a few, but Reggie scored set the record, I believe, 19 goals in a playoff
series.
And
And he was like he had a wicked release. But
that was a crazy.
And Chris did too, but Chris was huge. And
Yeah.
Chris, rest in peace. I met Chris, and he was a wonderful, big-hearted man. He played foosball with us. We watched the Flames 2016 run together, and he was just such a humble and kind man. And we had some good times. But he was unfairly miscast as a goon only when he could have been a top 6 guy.
Well, he was the heavyweight.
And you remember in our Flames run when we won to the finals, you know who the second leading scorer on the Flames was behind Jerome McGinley? Was Chris Simon.
And one thing people forget is that was during the era when Chris Simon was the champ.
And he was the champ.
He was the heavyweight champ.
He was the heavyweight champ. He fought guys like
Darren
Bashir.
McCarty was in there, but
Darren
messed
McCarty
with,
wasn't heavyweight champ.
Yeah, but no one messed with Chris Simon.
Darren McCarty could throw with the heavyweights, but he wasn't.
He threw a lot, but
Sandy McCarthy was a different. Like that guy.
Sandy McCarthy's kind of 90s, so
yeah, and he was one of the rare guys in the 90s when they draft enforcers in the first round.
He was a terrifying
terrifying.
A lot of guys
to stand against.
But then you had Donald Brashear. He wasn't
a first round pick. No.
Yeah,
he was like a third.
And there's those low key guys who could throw down but never really did. That were scary. That people respected was like Dave Manson.
But who had that many penalty minutes and that many goals? Like Probert and Dale Hunter and like Chris Simon are mostly it.
Cram
Neely,
Dale Hunter,
Cam
who's
Neely
coaching Team Canada this year at the World Juniors. Eh?
Shout out Dale Hunter. And Cam Neely, he was before his knee injury. He was a remarkable power forward.
Well, what did he like? He had what? He had like 48. He had 50 goals in 48 games.
Yeah, and how many?
Like one of the few to do it in under 50.
Yeah. And how many penalty minutes and fights against heavyweight guys. And that's why I like Benny, because I remember as a kid when he had a first taste of the playoffs with the Flames. This guy's fighting like vets who were like bigger than him, and he's just standing in there.
Him and Ferland were running the show.
Oh man, that duo was amazing. Ferland, when he was healthy before the concussions, playing on the Johnny Gaudreau and Monahan
every time
line,
he touched the ice, everybody knew he was
where
on
he
the
was.
ice.
You didn't want to fight Mike Ferland.
Yeah, he was laying guys out, flattening them out.
Oh man, he stretched guys out easy.
Man,
but you're not going to see
injuries,
Ferlands. You're not going to see Ferlands. Like you're not going to see these guys too often.
It's crazy because that's a crazy story. Because what you're talking about, like what Mark Messier said, Ferland was basically a picture of what that was because. Back in Manitoba, Ferland family could not afford him to play high level hockey.
Nope.
The coach had to bring the parents together, and they all chipped in, even for equipment, for him to play like AAA, like AA, AAA, these high levels before he got drafted into the WHL with I think the Brandon Wheat Kings. But he literally. Had parents that kind of stepped up for him and helped them to get into actually play at a level he should have been playing at, and that gave him the opportunity. He ended up making the league. He ended up, having, for the short time he played, it took him a little bit to kind of get into the league. But once he did, it was a crazy ride.
He was a top line player.
It was a short ride, but it was a crazy ride.
He was a legit top line player with his release and his snapshot. I don't know how many goals he just picked high corner fast. The goalie had no idea the puck had even hit the net, and this guy's already celebrating, tickling twine. Like this guy, he was a legit top line release, and his confidence to
he
go
could
up.
Score. He was like the prototype. He was the authentic as you can get power forward. Unfortunately for injuries, that's a part of the game. That concussions, it sucks. That type of thing, especially when you're like. We're talking about these heavyweights, these guys who fight, like they take a lot of damage. And also too, it's not like when you're playing in the pros, it's a lot of people think, you're a heavyweight, you're playing in the pros, you're getting paid all this money. But think of it this way. You're expected to go toe to toe every single game. That's your job. And that was in that era.
People can't even imagine the stress.
And you think
you remember Cement Head, Dave Semenko?
Yeah.
Apparently, he was so stressed every game.
Yeah.
He would be chain smoking, because he knew that he had to go out there and fight some monster.
Yeah.
Every game he had to do it, and he was one of the best, and he protected Wayne Gretzky.
And
then we drafted Timmy Hunter to fight Dave Semenko,
and
then Timmy Hunter, not even very tall, but man, did he have a chin and could he throw?
Yeah,
holy moly, was he elite!
But the craziest thing was that like it's the painkillers. That's what gets these guys, you know. Like that's what kept them going beyond what they should have been going. Yeah. You know, apparently Donald Brashear is returning to the league, and I think Donald Brashear is one of the few guys who genetically was just able to, you know, sustain. I don't know. I never seen any like Georges Laraque is one of those guys where
he was a freak.
He's a very articulate guy, you know, and you know, you listen to some of these guys, like even Eric Goddard, who's on the who's actually on the Sportsnet things. He's out there, you know, doing his analyst.
He was a definitive heavy. He was 6'4", 220. He was a monster.
But
nobody wanted to
he's
fight
on
him,
Sportsnet now, eh?
Yeah, it's good.
And like that's the thing. Like these guys have to basically, you know, the team doctors like just shooting them perks and like all these like
Demerol and
you know anything. And then not only that, man, these guys are dealing with alcoholism. They're dealing with like all the you know all this stuff because they're just trying to make it through. You know. Mm-hmm. You see what these guys are making it through, like Chris Simon's, you know, one of those things, you know, Boogard's the boogeyman, you know,
rest in peace.
Derek Boogard and his brother there, and like I knew a guy who fought both of them from the reserve there, Robin Big Snake.
Well, I heard about Robin. He's quite the hockey player.
He was like I played novice with him. I was a goalie. And I remember I just go to sleep. We play those morning games, you know, when you're novice.
Yeah.
I'd just go to sleep in the net because we had such a good team. We had Robin Big Snake on our team, and like we were like down at the other end, you know,
the whole game.
Like every so often they'll clear the puck and they'll go right into the net because I'll be asleep. But but other than that, like he was the first player I ever seen that he lost his stick, and he actually. He broke the puck out and brought it into the zone and kicked it in without his stick. And that was the first time we seen that, and that blew our minds. But Robin was such a talented guy, but unfortunately he had to fight, just like the Tutus, just like you know, the Aramashams, you know, just like he had to fight if he wanted to move up. Yeah. He had to fight if he wanted to move up, and sad to say, even Robin's...
Well, Chris Simon was a first-round pick, but
yeah,
there were enforcers who were picked first round.
Yeah.
Scott Parker, like a lot of these guys, you know, they're just monsters.
And like that too. Even Robin's younger brother, Cat, you know, Cat could have you know did some headways and stuff, but yeah, he's seen what his brother went through in the pros, you know, being a tough guy, and that, you know, it kind of like sucks because you know, like you kind of get pigeonholed, like you know how actors get stuck on a role, eh?
Oh, that's a bad
Some
hit.
guy just got checked from behind
That's
from
a
Team
bad
USA. Oh, that was a bad one.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh shoot! He's toughing it out. That kid's a good one. He's trying to tough it out, but he could tell.
Yeah, he's hurt. That was a bad hit. It was one of those ones. Guy turns to the forechecker, and then forechecker doesn't go on the brakes.
But you see, you know how actors they get like what do you call it?
Typecast.
Typecast into roles. Like you know, it's funny. You could typecast Samuel Jackson, but he can play Samuel Jackson any role.
Right into his right
you know,
shoulder. Just crunch.
Denzel Washington.
He's a lead actor.
No, he's like a typecast.
No, he doesn't get typecast.
But he plays himself like every single time. But like what I'm saying here is just like. It sucks that these guys have to be typecast, even though they have all the skill to wear, all the skill in the world, that to be able to be a power play guy, to be like a Tom Wilson type of player that will be able to be allowed power play time. You know, it took him a while to really get that respect to be able to get there. But like a lot of these guys are just forced into a position. Now it's a different game. Now those guys who are...
We see Carter Bears and we see McKenna.
Yeah, but now you see, you know, now those guys are gone, you know, like you don't have those guys. Like that's why like Tom Wilson is kind of like one of those unicorn guys. Like, but you have to play in order to be able to be in this game.
Well, you have to play at this speed.
You have to be able to skate. You have to be able to bring something to the table. You know, but Tom Wilson, and then what's the other one? You know, Wi-Fi, Arbor Zcash.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they're...
Jackai.
jack guy. But, like he's still able to play defense, but still he's a tweener. He's not like a solid, but he's a heavyweight. He's a legit heavyweight. He's probably one of the only guys who could probably hold up. But like with all due respect, I think the true heavyweight in the league right now is Olivier in Columbus. He tuned every heavyweight back to back to back to back. He even
Did he fight Wilson?
He kind of ragdolled Lombard last year.
Yeah, no, but Lombard is not the biggest. But did he fight Wilson though?
Wilson is a different player now. He's not just going to fight him for the sake of it. He's not. It's just how it is, Klapka was trying to get in there last year against Wilson when they came, but right now Olivier, he tuned up. He basically ragdolled everybody. He even ragdolled Rempe. He tuned up. The guy who was one
Calgary
of the tough
Matt
guy
Rempe.
was that guy? And he used to be with Anaheim and went to Philadelphia. That
Gudis?
No, he was a kind of French name.
It's something.
Yeah, but he was a tough guy too, and he was one of the top heavyweights. But then freaking Olivier. But all respect to Olivier,
and he also scores
Olivier
too.
can score.
Yeah, he can score.
Like you look at Wilson. Wilson can score.
Yeah.
You have to be able to bring something to the table because you ain't going to exist in this league.
Yeah, they can't. They can't
like
run you out
as
there
just
for
a
5 minutes.
solidified tough guy anymore.
You can't be a 5-minute guy anymore.
You can't, and that's unfortunate because
a lot of those guys lose out on a skill that was so prevalent one time in hockey.
And you look at it now, you're getting all these little sneaky injuries in there because guys are hacking and whacking.
Yeah, and
hits to
running
the
kids
head.
from behind. They're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Not worried of Eric Goddard or
and
who was that? Who was that Polish guy that Oliwa? You're not worried about these guys.
oh yeah.
on
Well,
the ice.
look if Edmonton had like Tom Wilson on their team, who would take a run at McDavid?
Nobody.
Would Ball be basically dumping McDavid on his head?
Well, no, because
Every time.
he'd know that Wilson would come on the ice and have his job, and he'd say, "Hey, Kevin, you owe me a little time here.
Yeah,
Let's have a little
since
let's
Zach
have a little
Kassian,
one-on-one."
Since Zach Kassian left the Edmonton Oilers, every time McDavid gets rocked, what does Edmonton do?
Nothing.
And that's your problem.
Yeah.
That's why you're never going to win.
Yeah.
That's why you're never going to win. You don't have anybody, not even your teammates, going to stand up for the best player, like arguably in the game right now. And nobody on your own team's going to stand up for you. And guys are going to like when Edmonton last played Calgary before the New Year's here, Calgary ended up winning. And you know why? Because they were throwing McDavid on his head, like Ball threw McDavid on his head. And like nobody on Edmonton did nothing.
Honestly, I think after his McDavid's, his display of displeasure at the start of the season with the team, I think the team is kind of checking out on him and look at him like a diva. But they got to realize he's their meal ticket. Like, he's their captain. He wants to win, and he's going to drag you if he has to. And you gotta stand up. And you got to be the best player you can be because this guy demands a lot of himself and his team. And to be fair, like he has the fire that usually coincides with somebody who wins a cup. He just doesn't have the team around him. He doesn't have the defense to support him. They gave too much money to Bouchard. I think that was a huge, huge mistake. You let Holloway go and you let Broberg go and you keep Bouchard. I think it was a mistake. Bouchard, the only reason he looks good and has the points he does because he plays on a power play with two superstars. And there's no way that Bouchard, I don't even want him on the Canadian national team. Like, no, I don't want him near. But the thing is, I'd rather have him as a seventh defenseman than like Morrissey or Taves, to tell you the truth.
No.
Then Devon Taves? No way. Taves doesn't do anything well.
I can't.
At least Bouchard has a slap shot. You play that guy 10 minutes a night and only play him on power plays. I would bring him out for that.
I would take Adam Palesh. I would take Pulak over Bouchard.
Ryan Pulak. I would take Dobson, even Dobson over any of those two guys.
Yeah.
But it's just Chychrun to me is a better.
Aaron Ekblad should have been on.
Him too. He should have got a look too. And I think even Mackenzie Weegar he's on the taxi squad.
Montour been feeling the injuries, but I think Montour should.
Montour has offensive game. He's a nice two-way guy. He's kinda
Alexiak
gritty.
would be another one too.
Yeah, he skates decently.
He's a
for a
big
big
body,
man, for a
man.
big body. Like,
His
and that's where I
sister's
think
an
like
Olympian.
that's where I think like Ball is a better opportunity than some of these
Yeah,
guys.
Ball moves. Yeah,
Ball moves well. He's
but
big and
he's not a
physical.
prominent name yet.
Yet.
He has to really like. We see him game in, game out, so we see how valuable he could be and his potential, and we're seeing that. But the guys who pick the team.
Do you think that they should watch more hockey than us, Tim? We're not
No,
paid.
no.
They should watch more
But they're
hockey than us.
They ain't paying as much attention because they.
Well, then that's a fucking bias and an
But
oversight.
think of it this way. They have to give like whatever, looking over the whole league. They can only give so much insight into it, and yeah, it's their job. But when you look at us, we're watching
homers.
the Flames
We're
like every
homers,
game.
yes.
We're watching the Flames every game. We're seeing how these guys develop. We're seeing the potential. We're seeing how they grow, and our opinions change
Sure, we have
as
a
they
bias.
develop and become better.
We have a bias,
and
but-
but how many people know that Matthew Gradine is such a phenom when it comes to offensive skill? How many people know that Ball can be
Flames
such a dime piece with how big he is and how well he moves on
Well,
the
Edmonton now.
ice? Yeah. Yeah, but that's Edmonton because we play the most of any team in the league.
Well, 6 times a year.
And
anybody in
yeah,
the
the
Pacific.
guys picking the teams, like if you're looking at Cooper's, let's just say the coach Cooper's picking the team, he sees Ball like once, like maybe, he sees Ball once a year. He doesn't know anything from left to right of Ball. He doesn't know anything most of any of these guys on the West Coast. So that's why when you look at this roster, Armstrong, you're going to see Armstrong guys from the West, and then you're going to see Cooper's guys from the East. And that's why you guys have omissions of Ekblad. Yeah, well, unfortunately, because I don't know, maybe it's a huge rivalry, and maybe he's just not picking them because of the rivalry. I don't know.
It could be. I hope it's not, because when it comes to the national team, these guys got to put their personal teams and feelings aside. This is about bringing a gold and representing your nation. That's first and foremost our objective. And it seems like there's a bias in there, and they're undermining the potential of our nation. Sorelli, Hagel have no business being on that team. I think Josh Morrissey and Devon Taves especially has no business being on that team. Honestly, they zero business being on these teams. And we are missing out on some valuable players like Ekblad, Chikrin, Hyman, Scheifele, even Bedard and Schaefer should be on these taxi squads. Sanheim, Harley, these guys haven't earned their bones on these teams. These guys are just getting they like the potential of these guys. Oh, they're big and can skate. Well, so what? What have they done? What have they won? What type of stats are they putting up that suggests that they're like leaders on a team? That it does anything of value and merit.
I would take McNabb over Theodore, Morrissey, Parayko, and even who's the other big guy, Sanheim. I would have taken McNabb from Vegas.
Yeah,
McNabb's a gamer.
He is a gamer, tough guy,
he's a very smart, intelligent. He's probably one of the best defensive defensemen in the league.
Sure, and he'd get my nod over a lot of the other defense guys.
And all his Stanley Cups will attain to that.
Attest to that, yeah.
And he was a top 4 for every single one.
He was a top performer for every single one. He is a solid defensive defenseman who plays with a mean streak. Yeah. And I like that, but can he keep up? And I don't know if he has the wheels to keep up.
Honestly, it's the brains and intelligence to really, and two, he proved that he can still roll.
I'd rather have him than Devon Taves, to tell you the truth. Him and Makar sounds a lot better than what we have now. And I just don't see it. I just don't see how our defense is shaped the way it is. They're hoping for a mobile group who can just get the puck up, try transition, and they think there's not going to be a lot of cycling and in-zone defending that they're going to have to do, which I think is a mistake. I think guys like Nelson, guys like Matthews, these guys are going to be cycling, and you got to be prepared for it. And Brady Tkachuk and Matt Tkachuk are going to be cycling, and you got to be prepared for it.
The only thing you can put your money on with U.S. is that Matthews will probably be nowhere to be found in the goal.
Yeah, you just hope.
When the games are on the line.
And you just hope that Matt Tkachuk is injured and playing slow like he does.
Well, he is slow, but...
okay, super slow.
Yeah.
And I honestly, we should have traded for Eichel. I can't believe we didn't trade for fucking Jack Eichel. What a
Yeah,
fucking mistake.
yeah, it's too bad. You
well.
can't go back in
You
time.
Can't go
and-
back in time. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's hindsight in the end because we believed that Matthew Tkachuk was going to be a leader for years on this team at that point in time.
Yeah, then why didn't you sign him? Why didn't you sign it? I don't know. Anyways,
That's the problem. Like he was willing to sign
for
because
7.
he wanted to be a leader on this
yeah,
team.
he wanted to be captain. He wanted to be 7
We didn't
times
have
7.
a captain at the time. Respect to Michael Backlund, who deserved to be captain. But really, if that's what's stopping a superstar player like Matthew Tkachuk from being on your team, then that's entirely management's bonehead
Again,
loss.
Flames management are boneheads.
We
That much is clear. This
Yep.
new regime, I do like Craig Conroy.
and it could be how much that could be the owner. Basically telling them no, we don't want to pay him that much. No.
Yeah.
And
And
then
again,
Conroy,
it's our
and
ownership
then you
group.
look at the guys
It's
that are
our
like-
ownership group who empowers this executive group
Yeah.
who has let us down time and time again.
But then
who has
they'll
been the
tree living.
constant?
'Cause
Who has
tree-
been the constant?
Yeah.
Murray Edwards, that bum. And you know what else? Don't get me started on how our gosh darn mayoral representation here botched that first deal with our stadium. That's going to be a topic for another day, but what a horrible deal.
And then they
thank
use
you.
us as leverage.
Yeah, use us as leverage.
Use Six Guys leverage because we were actually looking at helping out for the arena, but then they used that to say, "Oh, look at these guys! They're willing to put this money on board," and then that's what got the negotiations going again. So they're gonna get the arena. Of course, they didn't want Six Guys to have any part in that ownership.
Another huge oversight.
Yeah.
Imagine
Well,
that.
at least of the arena, at least.
Yeah,
but
imagine that. Imagine a partner like that. Now
I would have just.
that sounds like it's a step
I would
towards
have liked the
reconciliation. if you
box,
ask me.
where at least once a year, I try to use my connections to get a seat in there, but
I got in the box this year.
that's about it.
Six of Kids Christmas party. I got in the box there this year.
For which game?
The Vegas game.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's okay? We'll
say that
keep
another time.
off.
But I did get to check that out. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, I believe that Canada's running the risk of being lapped. We're going to be passed by other nations. We don't have the type of kids you need to maintain our reputation for the type of hockey that we've played over the years. Skilled, big, fast, and mean. And we're not mean anymore. We're not even that big. We're just skilled and fast.
Holy
And
smokes! Is that Darren Reed? No, not Darren Reed. But what's his name? Reed. He used to
Dave Reed.
Dave Reed. He won the Stanley Cup with the Stars in '99.
Yeah, Dave Reed. He's still
He
a
looks so
commentator.
freaking old. Like he looks like a fossil. What
Well, he
the
always did,
frick?
even back in the 2000s.
Man, that's making me feel old. Like,
Well,
look
we
at
are.
Dave Reed looks like a freaking tombstone already.
Nice pass.
Yeah, he's so
Yzerman's
gray.
second goal. Anyways, I think Canada's in real trouble.
Look at that.
He does look old.
99 Stanley Cup winner, and he looks like he hasn't played hockey since the 70s.
In '99, he was in his late 30s, though. Like he was like an old player then, though.
Look at
Like
that.
he's
man.
definitely in his like late 60s. Like he's almost at the end.
Look at that. He looks like he's a war veteran.
He does. He wore from the old
What the
NHL,
heck?
the old pre. Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. Whoever listening, we love you. We greatly appreciate you. Keep tuning in for more content. If you guys are watching us or listening on YouTube, like and subscribe. Let's get this promoted to more platforms so more people can hear Tim and I banter and bicker, and then bring on the guests we bring on, because I believe that our takes are unique in this world, and
And I'm
there's not many
sorry
people
this
doing it
pod
like
was
us.
all about hockey.
But it's the Olympics coming up and the World Junior Championships right now. So if you were looking for anything else but hockey, you'll be disappointed. But if you like hockey, you'll have enjoyed this podcast. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you immensely. And until the next one, okay? Take care.